Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of the Player 3 podcast. That was almost awful. Almost spilled that soda all over the place.
A lot of juice.
Could have been bad.
I'm your host, Luke Croft. Alongside me, we have the always visual... No, he's on vacation. I really thought I was really going to do it.
He's dead.
Yeah, the always visually stunning Larry Hunt.
He's not on vacation, but he is not here.
He's very dead.
He's on vacation in heaven.
Yep. But anyway, next to me, we have He Can Fix You a Nice Delicious Glass of Pepsi and Steal Your Daughter's Heart, ladies and gentlemen, Doug Martin.
Ah!
And then over here on my other side, we have Benjamin D. Hankins. The D stands for the second part of ta-da. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Here we go. Ta-da. Here's the computer screen.
We got it. It's good. It's
I'm
beautiful.
very excited. We unveiled this on Three Topic Thursday, and we'll be able to show you guys what we're talking about when we start looking at like some weird pottery and stuff.
Hey, can we get up the Pottery Barn catalog?
What we unveiled on it originally was it was us, and then we looked at John Stamos. We looked up John Stamos.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Naturally.
How are you boys doing?
I'm on lewd dude nude.
My favorite, Ben.
I'm doing weird.
Doing weird.
Feeling weird. It's nice.
Good. I'm doing good.
All right. For those of you who don't know, we are the Player 3 Podcast. We get together every Monday at 4 o'clock over at twitch.tv/Player3 Podcast. We're a little early today because Ben is going to a concert tonight.
I am.
With some childrens.
I'm going to go take some kiddies to the concerts.
And that's not a euphemism. That's really what he's doing.
Yep, really doing that.
That doesn't mean you're going to have to take a big poop.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Take Browns to Magic Town. Is that what it is? Or no, it's
to the
Browns
Super Bowl. Browns to the Super Bowl.
Hey, it's works on two levels.
What is the Magic Town?
That's it's like Pleasure Town from the first Anchorman.
Or like Cloud City.
But anyway, so we get together every Monday. We talk about video games. If you miss it live over here at twitch.tv/Player3 Podcast, subscribe over at youtube.com/Player3 Podcast. We're also on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. Diz is over here. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Show your hand, Diz.
He's no longer dead.
He's here. And as always, Gary over here in this corner.
I'm here!
But he will be dropping links in the chat to let you know where you can follow us. Let's get started, boys.
Let's begin.
Let's start like we
Let's
start
do
off
this.
every week with the releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap.
I thought you said you were bringing instruments.
I was
since Larry
going
wasn't
to,
gonna
but I
be
didn't have time because I had to go help my wife with school and stuff.
here. Ryan Clements needs to get back from vacation because our releases of the week are kind of slim from the PS4. We don't have the descriptions anymore. So hopefully next week we'll get back to being able to talk about it all. But here we go. Releasing on the PS4 this week. I don't think we have anything coming across platforms. Oh, no, we do. Coming out on both is The Swindle. That's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One. But then releasing exclusively on the PS4, we have Abyss Odyssey Extended Dream Edition. And then King's Quest Chapter 1, A Night to Remember, Legend of K Anniversary, the 4th episode of Life is Strange.
What do you think happens this week?
On Life is Strange, it gets weirder. And then we have N++, which is the sequel to N+, and Sword Art Online, RE Hollow Fragment. That means reply.
Sword art. That sounds cool.
For those of you who have never seen an email before. And then we have Velocibox, and that's everything that's coming out exclusively on the PS4. Hopefully next week we'll get the descriptions back and we can actually talk about these games a little bit more. I just don't have the...
Velocibox.
Tell
It's
me
like
about
a...
N++.
It's just a platformer game.
Okay.
So,
Velocibox is about dinosaurs.
is it?
I don't know.
Sounds like it. I'll allow it.
It's like
I'll
a
allow it.
Jack-in-the-Box with velociraptors. And
You're
your
a
goal is to
Jack-in-the-Box.
try to open as many Jack-in-the-Boxes without getting eaten by the raptor inside.
You're a Jack in the Box.
And then releasing on the Xbox One, we have Magic Duels Origins. And
Ooh.
then also this week, Windows 10 comes out for everybody who owns a PC. You get a free upgrade if you're on Windows 7 or Windows 8.
Yeah, Windows 7. Okay.
Yeah, Windows 7, Windows 8. Are you on Windows 7?
No, I'm on Windows 8, but I was hoping that like maybe for those of the people that have like ME still, maybe they could get a free upgrade. Nah.
No, Lord knows their computer can't even run Windows 10. I'm going to download it, try it out. I'm excited about the streaming stuff. That really doesn't appeal to you necessarily, does it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested with my Xbox Live compatibility.
Yeah.
It might be cool to like just go in the living room and maybe I'm watching something on TV, but I can be on my laptop just playing a little Halo 5 when the time comes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the people who don't have like their TV routed through, I guess that's good. See, we have Sling TV, so all of our TV comes through. He should be channel 3. Yeah. Anyway.
Me?
Yes. You got to get up in that thing, man. You got to make love to it.
Hello and welcome to the Flavor 3 podcast.
So I'll try out the streaming stuff, and I'll come back next week to talk a little bit about that.
I hope you'll be back because this is your house.
That is very true. It's not going to be my house much longer. We're moving.
Hey,
I'm very excited. About it. And we also have some.
You're a Jack in the Box.
We have some very excited unspoken things to unveil here in a few weeks, but we're not ready for that. There's still what's the word when you sit on an egg for a while?
Butt hurt.
That's it. They're still
hibernating?
They're still butt hurting.
They're still marinating.
Yep.
They're still
Incubating. That's it.
Incubating.
All right.
Hibernating.
Those are your releases of the week.
Releases of the week. Clap, clap. No special one at the end of this one. I just wanted to do it normal.
The J-Strom says that he is afraid of change. This is going to be a good change. We're kind of in like a tight little compact room right now, and where I'm moving, we're gonna have just a giant dedicated podcast room.
Will there be a vent on my legs at all times?
I mean, yeah, we're gonna make sure of it.
You're a Jack in the Box.
All right, let's move on to the news.
News with the podcast guys.
All right, first item on the list: Assassin's Creed creator Patrice Desolates. It's a French name. I don't know how to say it. Is working on a game. He left the Assassin's Creed and is working on a game called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey, and it's going to be a largely non-violent game. And this is on IGN. It says he explains the game will jump throughout history to some key moments.
The French coming out. You key moments in our civilization.
Yeah, where crucial decisions are made. Examples he gives include the domestication of animals, the invention of tools, discovering penicillin, and putting a man on the moon. A running theme here is nonviolence. Yes, bloodshed happens through history, but Desolates wants to go beyond that. He explains this in depth by looking at a potential section where you'll play as a caveman. Quote, our ancestors back then weren't that violent. They weren't fighting each other. Corporations and cooperation and compassion are really part of the reason why we survived. There's no evidence of war before the invention of agriculture on this planet. That doesn't mean they didn't exist, but we've never found any evidence of it. There's not a lot of human beings on the planet, and once you first come across one, your first thought is not of killing them. It's like, holy there's somebody else. Let's try to help each other to survive because there's not a lot of food and there's a lot of beasts out there.
So what about those old like cartoons where the caveman wants a lady but another caveman wants a lady, and one of them bashes the other one over the head and carries her off, and probably bashes her over the head too, and then carries her into his cave to make whoopee.
Yeah, the whole like there's no evidence of war before agriculture. It's like if there was war before then, you'd have been fighting with like stones and stuff that would just seem kind of natural. I feel like evidence of war wouldn't really have lasted to the point where we could have discovered it.
Maybe, but that's better left to the suits in Washington to decide.
So is the omission of evidence cause for not including it in history?
I guess.
So
it's not admissible in court. The burden of proof's on you at this point. So no, that's just legalese right there. But I like kind of this direction that that games are taking, where it's like not everything needs a combat mechanic necessarily. You know, we can use these as mediums to tell good stories and not have to rely on the adrenaline you get from killing something. Let me go back to his quote really quickly. He said in it that there's not a lot of human beings on the planet, and once you first come across one, your first thought is not of killing them. And I would have to disagree with that. Like, primal instinct.
Never been to Walmart?
Yeah. But, I mean, even like in the animal kingdom, like you come across something that you don't know what it is, and you feel threatened by it, your first thought is to destroy it, not to get to know it, not to shake its hand and cooperate with it.
And if there's a lack of food, wouldn't you just resort to cannibalism? Want to eat that other person?
What are you talking about?
He said it was a lack of food. We'd help each other to get more food. Help each other to be food. That's what he'd do. Hit him in the head with a club.
I'm gonna
And
eat you
eat
so
him.
hard, Ben. You're a Jack in the Box.
This is like the second week in a row we've talked about eating you, Ben.
Cannibalism. It's all about it, man. I'm fatty. I've got good flavor, probably. I don't know.
You just had a whole box of chicken nuggets.
I
so.
did just eat a whole box of chicken nuggets. So
Well, we threw like half of those away.
yeah.
But anyway, you have any thoughts on this, Ben?
I think it's cool. Well, you kind of called it an episodic. It's not Assassin's Creed, but it was kind of cool. Last week we talked about games that needed an episodic release, and the guy who made Assassin's Creed is working on an episodic game. I think it's. I kind of agree with you with the battle mechanic thing. I think it's neat to see something that's just kind of story driven and not so much the game, like the pulse pounding gameplay of like combat is not a driving factor behind this. It's just kind of seeing historical events happen.
It's really nice.
neat.
Like I've spent all week playing Journey and Ethan Carter, contrasted by like Destiny,
Yeah.
and it's been really nice to kind of get the best of both worlds because Ethan Carter, you're just which we'll speak about later, but you're just kind of walking around PT style. All you can do is look really closely or walk or run.
Yeah, and in a world where we're gonna get world where Project Morpheus is gonna be coming, we're gonna start to see more and more of these like just experiences that you get to have, and that's what Ethan Carter is. It's what everybody's gone to the Rapture. Things like Gone Home, where it's really all about the story, and there's no real necessarily gameplay mechanics that can kind of detract from that story. And I'm okay with that. Like right now is the prime time in gaming where it's like there's something for every mood that I can be in. Like if I want to go shoot some things in the head, I'm going to play Destiny or Halo or something like that. But if I want to sit down and like have something that kind of challenges me to figure it out or to see a story, I can go play The Vanishing of Ethan Carter or something like that. And so really cool time in gaming right now. Let's see. Next item on the list. Alex Morgan and Christine Sinclair will become the first women featured on the box art of a soccer game.
Who are these gals?
One is from the
U.S. national team.
the U.S. women's national team, and I X'd out of the wrong article.
The Sinclair, doesn't she?
Oh no, I don't have the right article in here. Anyway,
Doesn't Sinclair play for the U.S. national team too?
no. I think she's from Germany. Let's look it up. Let's not guess. Christine Sinclair here.
It's all about speculation.
Anyway, Ben, you and I are both big FIFA fans.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think it's
Canadian national team. Sorry.
we kind of had a pretty long discussion about the women's national teams being introduced or being in the new FIFA game and how like a lot of that turns to conversations of like sexism, like what do women how do they belong in video games like this, like is that and how people would view the negative connotations that people take when it comes to women in sports, period, and whether it be eSports or regular sports, whatever. I think this is huge for women's soccer. One, I think it's really good for like women just video games and sports in general, like to be represented some. I think the choices are good. I don't know why they didn't do Abby Wambach though.
Well, she wasn't as big a part of this year's World Cup as she was 4 years ago.
Yeah, but isn't she like a captain for the U.S. national team?
I don't think she was a captain this year. I think the captains like ceremonially gave her the captain's band when she came in the final game.
So for NBA 2K this year, don't you get to like a Michael Jordan special edition?
Maybe if we were recording this episode in 2012.
Oh no, I swear I saw it, but I'm looking for it. Let's get a Mia Hamm version going on in here. I want to be Mia.
Mia Hamm.
She still play?
Not even a little. Is she still married to Nomar Garcia Parra?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Bigger question with this cover of this game is though, how many times is Messi going to be on the cover of a FIFA game?
Seriously. Here's the thing about this cover is if I'm looking at this correctly, is it that Alex Morgan's on the Xbox cover and Christine Sinclair is going to be on the PS4 cover, or is it like regional where if I buy this in America it's Alex Morgan, and then if a Canadian buys it, it'll have Christine Sinclair on it? I
don't know,
because I'm not offended at all about the fact that it's a woman on it. I think that's really cool. I think that the women's soccer is growing in popularity, but I'm going to be more offended if I'm in America and I have to buy a game with a Canadian.
That's what I was going to say.
So
I love other nationalities, but I want to pull for America.
But I'm probably going to end up getting this on Xbox One anyway. But yeah, I don't want a Canadian on my box art, and I don't think either of these box arts even look all that good.
Well, it's just Messi like repasted with somebody different beside.
Yeah, like you can tell like Messi has never probably doesn't even know who this person is right here. Like they've never met at all in real life, and so yeah, get it together, FIFA. You can do better than that. Dizzy, you're pretty good with Photoshop. You can go work for them. You can go work for them and do these covers better. You think? No.
Better, he said.
I'm saying you're not this terrible. You still might be terrible, but you're not going to be this terrible. Gary could maybe do it too.
I think it's important to be behind the push for women to have more, like, to be more prevalent in stuff like this, though. I think that's to fight against the sexism that comes from macho gaming. Yeah, well, we've kind of seen a shift altogether just throughout video games, not just in sports games, but across the board. Like, we're seeing more and more female protagonists. Like Assassin's Creed on consoles is going to have its first female protagonist with Evie, and like it's becoming more and more of an accepted thing, and it absolutely should be an accepted thing. Right. And so bravo. And not because it's women's, but just because I don't enjoy it. They can stay away from putting the WNBA in NBA 2K. If they wanted an NBA Live, they can go ahead. Yeah. Because in order to do that, you'd have to completely change everything about the game you're playing. Yeah. It's smaller hoops or larger hoops, smaller ball. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Do they play with a bigger hoop? I think so. No, I think it's the same hoop. Like in high school, they all play on the same courts. Oh, okay. Maybe not then. Yeah. I thought I was mistaken. Next item on the list. A new Xbox One bundle has been announced. This is from Polygon. This is a deal. I feel like this is a deal. It's so good. It says play Madden NFL 16 early with a 1 terabyte Xbox One bundle, including a year of EA access. And essentially what you're going to be getting in this package is you're going to be getting a 1 terabyte Xbox One, a copy of Madden NFL 16, and a year of EA access, which is normally $30, and it costs $399. Seriously, that's even without anything extra. That's a deal. What do you mean? Like with no add-ins, no game add-ins. Oh, you're saying just like the just Xbox a terabyte hard drive, $400 is a deal. I saw an article today. I think it was also from Polygon, where GameStop isn't waiting for PlayStation to release the terabyte consoles. They're going to start selling refurb consoles that have a 2 terabyte drive in them for $479 or something like that. So, yeah. Thoughts on that, Ben? Makes me excited. Memory is something that I'm always fighting a battle with on my game systems. I don't know why. I don't get a bunch of digital stuff, but I feel like every time I'm fighting the battle for memory with my consoles. So I've been fighting recently with my online storage through Sony. There's just not enough room. I haven't even paid one bit of attention to how much I have saved up on the online storage. It'll let you know eventually. Like you'll get a message saying you couldn't upload a save or something like that to online storage. I think this is an interesting. Let's see, we got Call of Duty last year bundled with a 1 terabyte console. Have we had anything else bundled with a terabyte? Master Chief Collection. Was it there? I think so. Okay. I think this is an interesting choice to do it. I love how much Xbox is backing the EA Access program. I think there's so much potential in the vault and in the reduction of like buying digitally and all that sort of stuff, and to see them really making a push, I think this is going to be good. Between the sports games and things like Battlefront,
when it comes out, being able to play that early, they're going to make a buttload off of that.
And even
that
even
service.
if you already own an Xbox and you're like, well, year of EA access, that sounds cool. What is it, $20?
It's $30.
It's $30 for a year. I mean, that's a deal. Like, that's a
That's a
deal. That is for all the games that they have in the vault now. I mean, as long as you don't mind playing old, like past year games, like if you don't own it, go ahead and get EA access if you're a sports fan. Even if you're a shooter fan, like they have like Battlefield and
Yeah, they've got Battlefield 4.
they got Titanfall.
They got Plants vs. Zombies, Garden Warfare. They've got
That game's a lot of fun.
They're going to get Dragon Age Inquisition by
Right.
the end of the summer on that thing. Just a whole bunch of stuff on there.
And it pays for itself. Like you'd have to, if you play 2 games off of EA Access, it'd be 4 years, and you would have bought those games. But 4 years, you get to play them for that reduced price. That's insane. There's constantly adding games to the vault too. So.
And I thought for sure that it was going to be like, before they put Madden 15 in the vault, Madden 16 was going to have to come out. And but we've had FIFA in the vault for like 3 months now.
Right.
And FIFA doesn't come out till FIFA 16 doesn't come out till September. So they've made it worth my money.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd pay the $30 just for the 5 days early access to all the sports titles.
Right. And it's all EA titles too, right? Or is it just sports titles? You get
No, all EA titles.
Yeah, so like I mean,
I'm talking for me personally.
they come with new Battlefield. You get early access to the new Battlefield.
You'll get to play Battlefront 5 days early.
Yeah,
which I'm very excited
Gosh,
about.
I'm pumped about that too.
Yeah, and it's a smart move from Xbox, because then for guys like us who own both consoles, it's like, well, I'm just going to buy it on Xbox. I already started my season on there,
Right.
so might as well stick with it. All right. Next item on the list. Very excited about this one. Deep internet game. Sad Satan popped up online, and a bunch of people started covering it. Kotaku covered it.
Gosh.
Mike.com covered it. Every gaming website in the universe started to cover it. We watched a couple of the gameplay videos before we went live. We've read a couple of these articles. And Seth, what'd you think?
I was freaked out. It's really weird. It's like I think a lot of where kind of the dread comes from in this game is because you have absolutely no idea what you're seeing. Like, we spent the first 5-10 minutes trying to figure out what was happening, and basically this guy was just walking down a corridor, and your vision's blurred. Sometimes it's dark, so you really can't even see anything except for a light in the distance, and all you can hear is either your footsteps or some kind of muffled sound. Again, not a lot of action. It's one of those games where you're kind of experiencing something, but you have absolutely no idea what you're experiencing. I'm puzzled, but it sounds like everyone is. It's just one of those things. No one knows where it came from. No one knows what it is, what it means.
Yeah, and the mystery surrounding this thing is what compounds the horror. Like, we were watching it, and at least for the first 5 or 10 minutes, we were like, without all the mystery behind this isn't really that scary of a thing. Now, it got scarier as we continued on through the Let's Play, but as far as like the lore behind it, just the fact that it's like no one knows who even made this game and how it ended up online.
The fact that you have to go like so deep to find it, like it's there, like you can't just search it out. You've got to dig behind stuff. You got to have certain software to be able to find it. Is crazy.
And the fact where it was put in. The freakiest thing to me was like where it was. If you download the game file, but then you start getting like what was it, like other like files that would kind of blip onto your
like notepad files.
Yeah, and it was weird. Threatening messages got involved somehow.
Yeah, that was probably the freakiest thing to me. Is that at one point at like the 15-minute mark of the Let's Play, this thing pops up. It's like just a white screen that's got some symbols on it, and some people on Reddit, I think, kind of uncovered what all of this stuff said, and it says stuff like, "I can track you. Good luck. You're alone. Buried. Kill, and kill again. You are on my list. 5 victims. Hail 666. Sad people died." And the "I can track you" thing is the scariest part to me, because like to get this thing off of the internet, you're having to download like all of these crazy files. And according to the Kotaku article, let me just find the quote down here. They were trying to hunt down the original copy of it, and they emailed the guy who claimed to get the original copy of it, and they were wondering why they didn't want to. Let's see. Here it is. It says, I contacted Jamie, the proprietor of Obscure Horror Corner, who did like the full gameplay videos online, to ask what was going on with the link. He now says he gave people the wrong link because the real one had, he claims, also included gore pictures and child pornography along with the game. And I didn't feel comfortable giving out a link for something like that. And so, like, you're downloading all of this stuff, and you may not even know what it is that you're downloading.
Right.
Here. So the fact that the game in the middle of it tells you, like, I can track you, starts to the original guy that downloaded it to play it ended up deleting everything that he downloaded off of his computer because he was like, it freaked him out so much.
Yeah.
Because it is not outside of the realm of possibility that somebody like buries this online, puts some tracking stuff in there, and then like just messes with you through it. Not even maybe in like a malicious way, but just in a way that would make you uncomfortable.
I'd say it's pretty malicious. If you're, even if it's very small, just stalking, it's still malicious.
It's just it's one of those things like there's no note of very little music. It's just it creates this sense of dread, and between the images that it flashes up there, like the the Baphomet image, and there's
that picture of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in his hallway of antlers. I think that's this picture right here on top of the Mike.com.
Which you actually see him like in the suit, and he's got the antlers around his head there. Yeah. The picture of who was it, Margaret Thatcher, and
I can't remember who the other person was, but
he was I was
here it
reading
is.
There. Who was he?
Jimmy Savile.
Okay,
and
but
Margaret
he was supposedly a child abuser.
Oh.
But the thing about it is that the two of them in the photo are for the NSPCC, which is the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, which kind of aids that analog that people were saying that the game has sort of a child abuse theme going to it.
Well, the first like scary figure that you encounter is this figure right here. For those of you that are watching the live stream, and obviously it's a little girl. You have to crouch down in order to be able to see her face, and her face is all messed up from the abuse that she has suffered. Then you go into a room, and multiple ones of this girl appear. I was telling you guys earlier, like I love horror that feels like it's doing something to you. And this game, even just watching it, there was a line that popped up on the bottom, and Diz started to read it, and I was like, I wouldn't say those words out loud. You don't know what those things are, because it was like in Latin.
It's that Latin incantation about Satan, and
yeah. So the game itself, the whole just like it's rough around the edges. There's not a whole lot of like it doesn't look good.
Oh, absolutely not. And there's no telling again how old this thing is, and how long it's actually been around.
That's a good. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just thought about it as something that just kind of popped up and somebody found it.
But if it's buried in the deep web, there's only there are lots of people on the deep web, but it's not really. It's more of a niche audience. And then even further, the people that are looking for games on the deep web has got to be that much smaller. So for this to just kind of appear now and looking the way it does, it could be from like the 90s. It could be like from the Doom era, or it could be from yesterday.
Yeah, there's some mystery also behind just the title of the game. Sad Satan is something, you hear it in the game. It's the Stairway to Heaven played backwards. It just kind of glitches on Sad Satan, Sad Satan, Sad Satan. Mm-hmm. But the Kotaku article cites that there's a video entitled Sad, Sad Satan, and if you watch it, it hints at murders committed by people in masks, and then it shows some kind of graphic pictures of some stuff, so I'm not going to throw that up on the stream. But, yeah, a lot of mystery surrounding it, and I just love stuff like that.
Yeah, it's super creepy. Like
it would be that much more creepy, like playing it on a tiny computer monitor in the middle of the night.
Yeah, because I imagine with this, it's like you're just you've been on the internet for 3 hours. You're just in no man's land of the internet, and you stumble across a file and you download it in pitch black in your house, and you're playing this game, which for the most part is in, I'll throw it up here. It's in this style of like black and white, and so playing up on just the dark imagery as well. And oh my gosh, I wouldn't have played it.
Especially when that girl starts screaming like bloody murder.
And does not stop for like 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to hype myself up just to watch the videos of it. So I can only imagine playing it as well.
I don't know how you get to a place in your life where you're like, I'm going to download this file. It says it's a scary game, and I have no idea what's in it. Like, what possesses you to go to that point?
Well, there are some brave souls out there.
Braver than me.
Strange.
We're watching It Follows tonight. Very
Oh, okay.
excited about that.
Yes.
It finally came to Redbox. Sorry,
I really
you're going to
wanted
be
to
gone,
see
buddy.
that movie. Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry, Seth recommended it, so you can blame him.
Thanks a lot, Seth.
All right, moving on to something maybe a little more lighthearted than Sad Satan and other sorts of satanic imagery. See where Detroit, some satanic cult in Detroit erected an 8-foot statue?
Erected.
No,
Tell me all about it.
I mean, I don't know much about it. I know that people are freaking out thinking that the government erected it. They're like, we're not allowed to have 10 commandments, but they can raise the satanic thing. But like the statue's on private property.
What is the statue of?
I mean, I can find it for you. It's
Yeah, show me that.
let's see, Detroit statue. I mean, it just kind of goes along with the whole theme that we're talking about here. It is.
I think that's Baphomet.
Oh, is it?
I think.
I'm not really up on the whole satanic culture here.
Neither am I. But hail Satan.
No.
Nope, not
No,
even
not even a
kidding.
little. So yeah, they erected this statue with this little child looking up at Baphomet. Is that what you said?
I think, but I'm not.
So
Baphomet's kind of goat looking, and he is also
good looking or goat looking?
Goat looking.
Oh, okay.
There's a child right there too. What do you know?
Yep.
Surprise.
Surprise. Anyway, on to some
Okay,
lighthearted
something
news
happier,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you getting a little
Yeah, I'm getting really depressed with all this.
depressed or freaked out?
Freaked out and depressed. Like, I need more joy.
All right, well, we're going to get to some more joy because PlayStation has trademarked the name Gnomaggedon, which means there's probably a video game in the work with these tiny little dudes right here, gnomes. Little gnomes right here.
Didn't they have a movie about gnomes?
I'm positive they have. I don't know what it...
It was a really cool movie, I think, if I'm remembering it correctly.
Toy Story?
No, it wasn't Toy Story. It was just a gnome movie. It was like Romeo and Juliet, but with gnomes. Gnomeo, is that what it was? Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet.
That was a really cool.
This.
It was a really cool movie. It was a nice little kiddie movie, but it was.
I'll look it up. We got this.
It was nice.
Romeo and Juliet. Let's see. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Oh, little gnomes. Cute little gnomes.
Little gnome guy right here. On a little hat. Getting ostracized by his family for falling
Oh, that's
in love
right.
with somebody.
They're throwing. That's the two families, the red and blue hats, but I can't remember what their actual names are supposed to be. The something, and they like chuck each other at each other, like they're weapons. Their hats are the lawn dart things.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. I'll allow it.
It's a
All
cool
right.
movie.
A
Guys.
funky adventure.
We haven't done it in a while. We're going to do a little wild speculation.
Wild speculation.
I love that song.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. Gnomaggedon. That's all we know. They trademarked the name Gnomaggedon in North America. What do you think this game's going to be about?
It's gonna be an post-apocalyptic Romeo and Juliet love story.
It's just a video game adaptation of Romeo and Juliet.
But
I think it's gonna be
post-apocalyptic.
like a deep, dark, post-apocalyptic narrative where all the humans have gone, and the gnomes are left to fend for themselves. And really, like, it's like, how do they eat without, like, that? It's a well-known fact that lawn gnomes feed off the energy of their owners. Like
I've read that.
the love in their household and their hearts, things like that. So when they're all gone, these gnomes, they're going to turn bad. And, it's only, some have stocked up on more love than the others and, pure-heartedness. But some other ones, who maybe came from bad homes, like, those trailers on the side of the road that have like 1,000 lawn furnitures in the yard, but the house looks like crap. And, it's very obvious that you spent, huh? Cool.
Diz is taking offense.
You took offense?
Yeah, just
You stole
dug
you stole
it right up
offense?
out of the
You're such a
ground.
thief. You're one of those bad homes. So the gnomes, some gnomes are going to turn bad really fast, and it's up to the good gnomes to try to stay good for as long as they can until they inevitably turn evil as well. Just like we all do eventually.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
I have a new speculation.
Okay.
You know how like when you in Toy Story they have the scenes of them getting shoved in like boxes and stuff, and you can like see their point of view from outside of the box.
Yes.
Okay, I think it's gonna be about this guy and his gnome friend, Nomi, or whatever they want to call him, Nomio, and he's gonna.
You should be a film writer.
Why is
You
that?
sound good at this,
Okay,
like naming characters and stuff.
Nomi, cool. He's gonna go. They're gonna leave this place after the apocalypse has happened, wherever they were at. I don't know where they're at. They're in Detroit, and they're gonna go to.
They're trying to tear down the satanic statue.
Right, the satanic statue brought Satan and then destroyed the world, and then they have to fight back again. No, he leaves this place that they're at, and you can see the whole game is just from the point of view of Nomi, like everything. So He carries him under his arm. You see, like, where they're going with Nomi being under his arm. He's, like, in his backpack. You see, like, outside of the backpack where he's going. And it gets to a point where the guy has to trade Nomi for food.
Oh, no.
And he trades Nomi, and then Nomi...
That's how you know you hit rock bottom.
Yeah. Nomi goes over to the trader's side, and you finally see the person who's been, like, because you never get to see your friend until like you get traded, and then you finally see him, and that's the end of the game. You catch a glimpse of him before everything goes black.
Who is he?
I thought you wanted this to be happy.
It was happy for a
is
while
he?
until you ran out of food, and then you.
Wait, who is his owner?
Huh?
Who is his friend?
Oh, that's your decision to make.
His name is Carl.
It's a make your own way story. So whoever ends up being your owner is determined by the decisions you make as the gnome.
It sounds like the worst game ever.
Wow.
It's gonna be such a good game. It's
Um,
gonna be so good.
Oh man, I did not know there was a dog there. The door just moved, and we've been praising Satan the whole podcast.
no, wait,
We have not.
wait. We have not been praising Satan. You,
I didn't.
yeah, go ahead.
It was a joke, Satan.
That's Satan.
Oh man.
Get on with that.
All right, so my idea for Gnomaggedon, and maybe this is just because we had a yard sale Saturday, but a family's moving. They have all these garden gnomes, and they put them up in a box, and they put a price tag on there like $1 a piece, and then someone comes by and is like, "Hey, I'll buy all these gnomes from you for $10," and they're like, "Well, that's a deal," and then they sell them, right?
Mm.
And you're playing as this gnome, kind of like the Toy Story thing. You're in
Mhm.
the box, you're getting carried away to this new home. And you would discover that the guy bought all these gnomes simply because he wants to use your gnome head. And he uses them to craft weird lawn art. As if gnomes weren't weird
So like
enough
a,
lawn
like a
art.
Buffalo Bob situation.
Yes. I'm not positive what that means. What is Buffalo Bob?
You never seen Silence of the Lambs?
Mm-mm. No.
Ooh,
Puts the lotion on the skin?
He likes to skin people. Spoiler alert for any. It's like 20 years since that movie came out. So
Puts the lotion on the skin.
yeah, puts the lotion on it. He lubes you up until your skin gets all
Yeah.
loose and
Tell me more.
loosey goosey, and then he kind of skins you
Oh.
and uses.
That was a
he likes to do it to ladies, right? Yeah. Well, Joe Dirt was in the hole, and Joe Dirt, so yeah, he
What?
did. What
What?
he did was he took the skin and put it made a suit, and that way he could tuck his wiener and into the suit, and he'd be like a lady and prance around the house and stuff like that. So then he had lots of different lady suits.
I've seen that episode of The Office when
Puts the
Dwight
lotion on
cuts
the
the
skin
face
or
of
gets
that
the hose
CPR
again.
doll off.
So that's the joke when Joe Dirt is in the hole in Joe Dirt,
Mm-hmm.
which Larry hasn't seen incidentally, which I got to show. But that's the joke is that like everybody's like Buffalo Bob. We heard he was gonna do he was doing a bunch of weird stuff with those people, and he's like, "No, dude, I'm telling you, nothing happened."
I need to go back and watch Joe Dirt. It's been forever. I love that movie.
Well, you know what else could happen?
What's
what
that?
else could happen? You know, like Pikmin. You remember that game from GameCube?
I know what it is. Yeah.
It could be like a Pikmin type game with gnomes, and the Gnomaggedon side of it is just, there's so many gnomes. That's it. That's all I got.
What?
Okay.
It's like a Gnomacost?
It's like a Gnomaggedon, yes.
You hailed Satan not 5 minutes ago, and you're gonna give me the look for saying Gnomaggedon?
Holocaust is a real word. It's just the
Yes, Holocaust is a real word. Thank you.
it's the genocide of the gnome race.
Speaking of genocide of a gnome race, Rob McElhaney is going to be directing the next Minecraft series, the next Minecraft, the first Minecraft movie. I'm all tizzied. Let's just start over. Hold on.
Hello and welcome.
Hold on. Hello and welcome to. Oh, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so Rob McElhaney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's going to be directing the Minecraft movie. Warner Brothers and Minecraft developer Mojang have selected Rob McElhaney, Ronald Mac McDonald from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia as director. Oh, spoiler alert! Because don't you learn that
Later on.
Yeah, way later on that his last name is McDonald.
Oh yeah, Mac
That
McDonald.
his name's Ronald McDonald. But anyway, as the director of their upcoming Minecraft movie.
I really want this to be good news, but it just seems a little weird.
I called it.
What did you call? You put that in the show notes. What did you call?
I called the fact that he was live.
Go ahead. Yeah.
He's alive,
Yes.
and he does do actiony things sometimes when he does his kung fu on Always Sunny, and it's a film adaptation of Minecraft.
Okay.
So it is technically a live action series.
He's directing. He's not starring in the film.
He's alive.
He's the director of the film.
An action is something that happens.
Hold on. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and
I tried to spell my name differently in each comment.
I can't find it.
Another
Yeah,
one
because
is
this doesn't exist.
No. This does exist. I'm trying to figure out where it was.
Nope, I deleted it.
No, you can't delete it off my phone. I can't find it. Where did you say it? But basically, I texted Ben and I said, "Hey man, Rob McElhaney is directing the Minecraft." It wasn't a text message conversation. We had it in real life. Yeah, because you were there. You can vouch for me, Diz, and Gary was there. He can vouch for me. I got your back, Luke. Thank you, Gary. And
Too bad you're not really Gary.
But anyway, so I text Ben, and I'm like, "Hey, Rob McElhaney's directing the Minecraft movie," and he texts me back, "Ha ha 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 ha! That's so awesome!" And so I'm like, "Okay, well, that's the end of that conversation." So we start talking about the Minecraft movie the next day, and Ben, I figure out, is really just excited because he thinks for some God knows what reason he thinks that this makes his E3 prediction right about
I get
there being
milkshakes.
a live action Minecraft series. But I'm like, "You know who Rob McElhaney is, don't you?" He's like, "No, man, who's that?" I'm like, "Mac from It's Always Sunny." He's like, "Oh, that's cool."
I called it.
You didn't call anything. You said it was going to be a television series.
No, I didn't. I said live action series.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Number one, it's not a series. And
Could
number
be
two,
a second movie.
Number two, it's not going to be live action.
He's alive. He does action things. Live action.
Seth, what do you want to see out of this movie?
I honestly have no idea. I mean, nothing like this has been done. They've done the Lego movie. That was cool. I have no idea. I'm baffled.
All I want two things.
Look at that thing he's about to fight with the diamond sword.
One thing Diz reminded me of that I want to see, and the other thing is, they do Lethal Weapon on. So what I want to see is, for no reason at all, the actor playing the lead character switches with a supporting actor from the movie midway through.
Exactly.
And then I also want to see a scene where Steve is in blackface in the shower talking, and it's just running off as he's in the shower. Those are the only two things I need to see.
I want like a Space Jam-esque comedy where like it's a live action person but superimposed into Danny DeVito naturally. Gets lost and like transported somehow into the world of Minecraft, and he's forced to fend for himself and survive the horrors of that pixelated world
With his rum ham.
with his rum. He's got like a little shanty built with or like this. Actually, eventually he gets this huge glass diamond castle, and the only decoration in the whole place is this tiny little table, and then it's filled with rum hams inside of it.
The whole movie is about him having to find a pig and some barley so that he can make rum and make a rum ham. I also would like to see an ostrich named D.
Yeah.
Are there ostriches in the Minecraft universe?
No.
There
Well,
can be.
You make a chicken.
We can allow it.
Make a chicken.
This movie is either going to be really bad or only kind of good. Those are our options, I think.
I don't know. I mean, if they do like a Lego movie, I never thought the Lego movie would be good, but it's been almost unanimously praised by everyone.
I think it's actually going to be like it's going to be all the episodes of It's Always Sunny, just in one movie. Just
you play
in
the movie
Minecraft.
backwards, and it starts praising Satan and Sunny and all these other things.
It's just going to be in Minecraft, like skins. They're going to take and just change all the episodes to Minecraft skins.
So you get like
Bob,
Danny
whatever his name
DeVito
is.
gets transported into, wild speculation, the Minecraft universe, and starts skinning like the skeletons and stuff alive, and cows, and using and
I've stopped listening to you because I don't
Cloaking.
have a clue what you're talking about.
How do you
cloaking
skin a
himself.
skeleton?
It's Minecraft, Ben. You can do anything. And you cloak yourselves in the skins and the suits and etc.
Are you done?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
Hey, I have a question for you, Seth.
Talk
It
to
has
me.
absolutely nothing to do with this. Did your dad pour gasoline on the motor after he was done mowing this week?
Maybe. I
You should call him right now.
The only person I've seen on the mower is my cat. She likes to sit in the seat
In
She
the gas tank.
Driving it?
like she's driving.
Like she's driving, or is she driving?
Sometimes both.
Do you ever try to like attach your cat to like a branch in your tree and take a picture of it and then send a meme out that says "Hang in there, baby"?
By what means? And what?
Just say it all over again.
Do you ever take your cat and like? I'm gonna say it a different way. Do you ever take your cat and like staple
let's
its
break
arms
this down play by
to
play. The first thing you
branch?
said was attach the cat to a tree.
Yeah.
By what
And
means?
then take a picture. You staple its paws to the tree, and then you take a picture of it, and it just says "Hang in there, baby" underneath the caption of the picture. But the cat looks
We
so
went
much
on
fake.
2 hours early. All kinds of weird stuff has happened.
This is not. This is the most ridiculous episode we've had yet. Because you're over here actually praising Satan, and you're over here stapling cats to trees, which I think is exactly the same thing.
No.
Let's move on.
Moving on.
According to Eurogamer, there's potentially a remake of Dead Island, a Dead Island Definitive Edition coming soon. Here we go. It's loading. I need to figure out a different way to get all these links rather than... I need to just email them to myself. 2011 zombie survival game Dead Island is getting a re-release on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One, according to a new retailer listing. South African chain Loot.co.za currently lists the Dead Island Definitive Edition for all three platforms to be published by Deep Silver parent company RQotW Media. Yeah. Ben, thoughts?
Do you think they're doing this because it says 2 to be developed, right?
To be published.
Oh, okay. Do you think they're doing that because they halted development on the Dead Island 2?
I don't think so. I doubt it. I feel like this was probably more preparatory for the release of Dead Island 2. Just because that was supposed to be coming out in 2016. If they can turn around and get a definitive edition out, end of the year, then it could have brought up a little bit of hype for Dead Island 2.
Right.
But, because, you don't just turn around and announce you're going to do something after deciding for a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not that they announced they're going to do it, it leaked, but regardless, I would think this was a plan that would have had to have been in the works for quite some time.
Regardless, I'm very happy about this the news if it ends up actually happening, because Dead Island was a really fun game and it's more fun to play with people. I think Dead Island was more fun to me than Dying Light was when we played it. I thought, because it's just, I don't know, it's more, it's different. It's a different kind of apocalypse. It's just, I don't know, it's just good. So if we were to get it, and I would assume with it would have like DLC and everything for the regular price.
Yeah.
That would be a cool, that'd be a cool little thing to all play together. I love that game.
I'm almost to the point where I'm like, I'm done with these definitive edition things. Like especially with Xbox One doing backwards compatibility and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, let's just move on. And like, are we just bringing stuff over because it was fun? Like this wasn't an exclusive game. Like everybody got a chance to play Dead Island that owned an Xbox 360 or a PS3. Like everyone had that chance, and so like things like the Uncharted collection or The Last of Us or the Master Chief collection, all those sorts of things where they're exclusive, and it's like you may have a fan base of people who have switched consoles in this generation, so let them experience those things. But for this game, it's like I don't see a reason for doing this except for the fact that like, well, now you don't have anything coming out because Dead Island 2 is, in purgatory. And so it kind of seems like a cash grab. And like I feel like with some of these experiences, we just need to let them exist. And they were fun when we had them, and we're okay with them being fun when we had them.
This probably also serves as a reminder, though, that it was a very serious game at the time, especially in light of all the controversy that came up when they showed this really Sunset Overdrive-looking, exaggerated trailer for the sequel.
So do you think that would have served it better or worse? Like, I feel like that would have done a disservice to the sequel.
I mean, who knows?
And I mean, we never had an idea of kind of like the final vision for Dead Island 2, but if it was more of a lighthearted kind of approach to the apocalypse, whereas like, and the original Dead Island wasn't necessarily like ultra serious, but it was more serious than what the trailer appeared to be for Dead Island 2 when it was shown. But like, I feel like if you put those two things out as close as these two things probably would have come out, they would have done a disservice to one another because people may have played the first one and then thought they were getting something else with Dead Island 2 and been disappointed with it.
You're right.
And then people who didn't play the first one, who got attracted to the trailer of Dead Island 2, would play Dead Island 1 and be like, this isn't what I imagined it to be.
Yeah, you're right.
You right.
You right.
Next item on the list, Project Cars for Wii U has been canceled. And this is one of those that like, it was up in the air for so long. They kept on and kept on and kept on. Seriously. It's so slow. They kept on like pushing it back, but promising like this is going to come. It says Project Cars on Wii U has officially been canceled, according to Slightly Mad Studios boss Ian Bell. Speaking to Nintendo Life, Bell explained the game may one day make its debut on Nintendo's new NX system, but as it stands, the Wii U simply can't handle it. And I don't understand why they ever thought that this game would be able to come to the Wii U.
Yeah.
Because it's only on PS4 and Xbox One, right?
I think so. Pretty sure that's
And
what
PC.
I've understood.
Yeah. Released on May 12th on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. And it's like, they had to keep delaying it to get it to run well on those systems.
Wii U's just always been behind. Like, well, just the Nintendo, period. And short of the, like, I guess going back to like 64. Maybe Dreamcast. No, Dreamcast wasn't Nintendo.
Yeah, that
I
was
don't know what. Yeah. But back to the N64. Like, that was probably the pinnacle of their on. It's Larry's rant. That's the pinnacle of them being on the appropriate for the time that they were released. Now they kind of just lag behind.
Yeah,
the entirety of the thing. So why would they ever expect to get something like that?
And the thing that's going to save Nintendo is third parties.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see stories like when developers and publishers see stories like this of a team that tried to get their games to run on a Nintendo console and couldn't do it, you're just scaring away third parties. Creative director Andy Tudor released a statement. It said, quote, despite much perseverance on the Wii U version of Project Cars, we will no longer be actively pursuing development on it as the quality does not meet our own high standards nor our intended vision for the title on this platform. We eagerly look forward to any announcement of further hardware from Nintendo, but right now Project Cars is simply too much for Wii U despite our very best efforts. Apologies to our Nintendo fans out there that have been waiting for further news on this, but have no desire to release a product that isn't at the very least comparable with our highest rated versions on other platforms. We optimistically look forward, therefore, to what the future may hold, end quote. And
that's a rough thing for Nintendo. That's like a big old kick in the bottom.
Yeah. And
The front and bottom.
They were kind of. I don't know if you can say banking on this because there wasn't anything that was going to help sell the Wii U, but like just as a proof point that like even if it takes a little bit more effort, you can get your games to run on this thing, and they couldn't. So that's on you, Nintendo. I'm hoping the NX can come and be comparable, but as long as they are releasing like in the middle of these life cycles,
Yeah.
the other two consoles, they're never going to catch up.
Right. They need to just take the lumps with 1 year. Like, just let the Wii U ride out, and then, well, they can't really do that, I guess. You got to build up hype somewhere before your brand just dies off. But develop, like, something that's actually, like, comparable to the time you're releasing it. Like, I'm on the hype with Larry. I feel like that's something that needs to happen. Like, if they would just do that, they would be good.
Let me ask you this: they talk about this on Kind of Funny. They've talked about it on a lot of different like video game opinion podcasts that I listen to about how that Nintendo's next move may be to go third party, like they become a third party and they start releasing really high quality Mario games and Zelda games on Xbox
Pokemon.
One or PS4, Pokemon games on those sorts of things. Do you think that is in the cards?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know how well a lot of the games that they're known for, because the huge amount of success that Nintendo sees is from handheld stuff. Like that, their handheld side, like you can't. I would be hard pressed to argue that even the Vita beats the DS.
What are we talking about?
Handheld gaming, like
in terms of what are they winning in?
I'm saying like just variety of I don't know. In my opinion, I wouldn't say just across the board, but in my opinion, like I liked having I've held on to my DS longer than I did my Vita, obviously, and I would go to the DS more than I would the Vita, anyways. And I think their success has been marked way higher within handheld gaming than in console gaming. Unless you look back at like N64 and stuff like that, obviously it was better then. But now that the handheld technology has gotten up to par with what really what their consoles are doing. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference between playing on the Wii U, that handheld pad thing, and playing on a DS to me. Other than you're playing different games, it doesn't look much different to me. It doesn't look.
Yeah, see, the DS is way underpowered in terms of like what is possible with handheld.
Oh no, yeah, I agree. It's less powerful than a console,
and it's way less powerful than the Wii U. Like,
oh no, I agree.
Like we can't, like there's no comparison.
No, I agree. It's less powerful, but I'm saying like as far as like enjoying the experience you're having, I haven't come across a game that is. I don't know. In my opinion, is that they should focus more on handheld stuff, and if they want to lose the console race like they have been for forever, that's fine. But I think in order for them to gain more traction, it would behoove them if they are going to stay where they're at with being behind in the console, just focus more attention on handheld stuff, because their handhelds they don't have problem selling. That they don't have a problem, with the stuff that they do with the handheld games. So
yeah, but even like within the handheld realm, like the new 3DS XL isn't all that much more powerful than just the 3DS XL, and it's got the C stick that's added to it, and it's like you can start to exhaust your market by releasing just iterations of things. Like you had the DS, then you had the 3DS, then the 3DS XL, and now the new 3DS, 3DS XL, and until they're reaching the end of even that being able to be relevant because of simply the computing power behind it. And so they're going to have to reach a point, and I think it's going to come with the NX, where it's going to be this crossover handheld console kind of experience. And but they're going to have to step away from the DS soon too, and move on to the thing that's the better thing. But they got to get a handle on their marketing. Like WiiU's a terrible name. New 3DS XL, that's a terrible name.
Yeah, it's awful.
All that junk is terrible. Like Nintendo has got a lot of soul searching to do in the next 3 or 4 years. It's going to be make or break for the direction.
Especially if they want to stay relevant, they have to. Which I mean, if they want to become relevant again,
there's a crap ton of money for them though if they just end up deciding to go third party. Like, and especially if one of the companies, Sony or Xbox, came to them and was like, "Hey, we'll give you billions of dollars to release exclusively on our consoles." That could be the thing they need. All right. You have anything to say about that, Seth? Been quiet back there.
I'm just not such a huge Nintendo guy. That was probably really quiet when I said that. I'm just not a big. I was an N64 fan, and I haven't really touched a system since. They just don't appeal to me anymore.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next thing here. There's an officially licensed PS4 Media Remote coming soon. This is according to GameSpot. It says video game accessory company PDP has designed an officially licensed PlayStation 4 Media Remote that is set to go on sale later this year. The peripheral is yet to be officially announced, but retail listings at Amazon and GameStop suggest that PDP's PS4 Media Remote will launch in October for $30. And will this blow up a little? Oh, yes, it will. Let's check out this picture right here.
I think it looks like poo-poo.
Yeah, me too. I was like,
this
looks like it goes to a DVD player from the early 2000s.
Why are there so many buttons?
In case you want to play your video games with this as well.
Oh, I can't wait till Rock Band 4 comes out and I got this big old remote and I'm just pushing these
Seriously,
tiny
what are
little
they
buttons on
thinking?
It's like, that's what I love so much about the Xboxes.
Yeah, we're about to look this up.
Because it is just a gorgeous, slim, minimal,
yeah, very
tiny little machine. It's streamlined. And that's what I like. It's got all the buttons you need to watch a movie or to stream anything on Netflix.
Oh, no.
Like that.
I didn't want to go to Amazon. I just wanted to blow that image up. But it didn't work. Yeah, they did which obviously this is officially licensed. Sony didn't design this. PDP designed this. But compared to what the Xbox One Media Remote was able to accomplish, like ergonomically and just visually, like this is just a sexy remote, guys. Check that out. What do you think of that?
And it's got that thing where you sit it down and it cuts off.
Yeah, and then you pick it up
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, she bad.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on it, Ben?
Do you think it's so big because of the PlayStation View?
I imagine that's part of it because I think you do have like channel numbers with PlayStation View.
Is it gonna like connect to your TV? Like you can run your volume and stuff up on your TV?
Oh, I guarantee you can. Yeah, there's channel and volume and all that.
If they're going for like universal, like does Xbox do that?
I mean, yeah, it controls my sound bar. It controls everything.
Oh, okay, well then never mind. I have no excuse for PlayStation. I don't understand why they. Like, what's the point of the shape buttons? And like, I just don't understand that.
Yeah, like they've got the triangle, the circle, the X, and the square, but then they've got yellow, blue, red, and green, and it's like you could have just made these colors, and we'd have been fine. Like we'd have understood it, we'd have got it.
Right. Well, what's the point of even needing that? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Just using them to select stuff and to be able to go back and all that.
I think about like when I look at controls like this, like I can't point at it. I'll use your thing. When I think about like controls like this right here, these little buttons, the fast forward and stuff, I think about like my Apple remote, like the function for left and right on selecting something changes to fast forward and rewind when you're watching something. Mm-hmm. So like, why can't more companies do something like that? That would cut out a whole row of that.
Yeah, well, in the way that like Xbox does it is it understands that when you press like the down button, that sort of function shows up on your screen, and you can just go over and select it. Like this isn't very space conscious, and it's really old school to me.
It's cumbersome.
But another peripheral was announced from the company Hori, which is this is from Game Informer. It says they're readying PS4 keyboard and mouse combo this fall for first-person shooters. So you get this little keyboard to play with, and then a mouse over here. Thoughts on this?
That's kind of cool.
I don't like it. That looks like a transformer.
It does kind of look like a transformer.
That's how most like gaming mouses are now, though.
Yeah,
ergonomics and stuff. But that keyboard looks kind of cool. The dumbed down keyboard.
I don't like it either.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting just because the big debate with shooters is well, I don't even know if it's a debate. Like, it's almost preferred to do keyboard and mouse because you can pick where you can click where you want to aim and all that sort of stuff. But does this possibly give people an unfair advantage online if they're playing?
Possibly, but I mean,
Everybody will have an opportunity to buy it, right?
Yeah, everybody's got an opportunity to buy it. I'm not going to buy it though.
Is it going to be wireless?
I'm not positive if it's going to be wireless. Let's see.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, and I don't know if it's even going to sell well, just because people play on consoles because they like to sit on their couch or sit in a chair and play it.
That's the thing, is you're gonna have to reach a wire all the way across a room, or you're gonna have a keyboard and you're like sitting there in front of a table all the way across the room. It's not. Consoles aren't designed for keyboards.
Well, that was my main argument too. If it's wireless, it's stupid to get this in the first place, because if you're trying to go for like optimized movement, the mouse is going to give you more optimized movement, but the whole thing was like having your controller plugged in. There's less delay.
No, the LED backlight.
It's pretty
I disagree with you, Seth. I agree with Ben. I think this thing looks good. I would never own it. I'd never buy it, but it looks good. And if there's support for this kind of stuff, like, why not just go buy something that's already been designed to do it? Like, why don't you just go buy a PC keyboard and
Who
mouse?
did you say is developing this?
Hori?
See, if they get
Hori?
like Razer to develop those, they'd probably sell a crap ton more. They'd probably be a lot more expensive.
But I really don't think they would. Like, I think this is kind of niche. Like, you gotta want this to want it. You know, like you have to really want this to go and buy it, because I've never played a mouse and keyboard game really at all, and so this is just overwhelming to me. Like, I don't even know how this works, because I've just played on console my entire life.
I wonder too why, like, if you're gonna invest that kind of money into a mouse and keyboard, why are you not playing on computer anyways? You know.
Yeah. Limitless Killer asks about the quality of the stream. Yeah, I got a new laptop. I'm still playing around with all the settings. Sorry if the audio is out of sync. I thought I had it fixed. My apologies. But we have this cool thing where we can switch between screens now. So we'll get it all figured out, and then the stream's going to be so much better. We've got a couple weeks to figure it out before we have big news coming down the pipeline. But we can't reveal that yet.
Big news.
But
What'd you say?
Big news.
I thought you said a P word.
Nope.
All right, next item on the list. This was a story that we talked about on 3 Topic Thursday with Luke and Diz. You can check that on youtube.com/player3podcast. We get together on Thursdays to talk about 3 topics. This is from Eurogamer. It talks about doping.
This is such a stupid article to me.
Esports organizations promise tougher drug rules after players admit doping. Let me ask you guys the same question that I asked Dizzy on Thursday. How do you guys even feel about this term right here, esports? What do you feel about that?
I go back and forth on it.
It ain't no sport.
I think it's cool because I like to play video games. And I feel like I'm really good at video games, where I like to play sports, but I don't feel like I'm really good at sports.
I disagree. You've got like the X Games that are like for extreme sports, and they're really organized and laid out, yada yada yada. And like that's just not like, when I think of skateboarding or snowboarding, I think of like a really personalized experience, like a couple of kids going out on the street and hitting a handrail and ruining it and affecting everyone's tax dollars, and or like someone going down a hill in a neighborhood or at a track by just a couple of friends together. It's something about this whole really organized element to a more usually personalized, smaller scale experience that just turns me off for some reason. Like video gaming, I don't know. I like it out in the wild.
Yeah.
But we also, like, there was a time where skating was considered rebellious, and like, you only did that if you were some hoodlum teenage kid. And then the X Games came along and kind of legitimized it.
Kind
of. A little bit, and made it at least more widely accepted and widely pursued.
Well, skateboarding is one of those things where it kind of comes in and out like every 10 years. Like it'll be hip for a while, and then people will start getting out of it, and it'll lose money and it'll lose credit, and then it'll kind of come back along after some time. Like Tony Hawk coming back around will probably and
Yeah.
get a big spike in skateboarding fame and popularity.
Yeah, but I'm not. I don't. I don't like the term esports because I think sports requires some sort of athleticism. So I'm okay with calling like skateboarding a sport or something like that, you know. But in terms of gaming, like, does it require a lot of talent and ability to be top tier at the game that you're professional in? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But just because it requires a lot of talent doesn't necessarily make it a sport. And I feel like finding a term that more accurately depicts what is happening in these competitions would go a longer way to legitimize gaming as a whole. And I like the organization. Like, we sat and watched that Mortal Kombat tournament, and I like
stuff like that is cool, but call a spade a spade. It's just it's gaming.
Yeah, it's just video games. Like, because in like baseball is a sport at every level. So like you play baseball professionally, it's baseball. You play little league baseball, it's baseball. We get 10 friends together and go hit the ball around and field the ball. We're playing baseball. But in order for for video gaming to be considered an esport, you have to be doing it at a professional level. Like, we're not participating in an esport when we sit down on Monday nights and play Destiny together,
Yeah.
Like, and there's also nothing really timeless about video games. Like, it's ever changing. It's always the latest map packs or the latest iteration of a game, the latest consoles, the latest controllers, and those sorts of things. And I mean, there's adaptations in sports as well, but like the rules that define those sports are timeless. And like football looks a lot different today than it did back then, but it's basically the same rules. Like how about you, Ben?
I don't know what else you could call it really though, because
Yeah,
you can't. There's so many
Mellicartion. We came up with the term on 3 Topic Thursday.
Mellicartion.
Yep.
There's so many different. There's so many different things. Like, you could say gaming and then competitive gaming. Like, competitive gaming would be the esport, side of the coin. But like, I feel like I'm competitive when I'm not competing in a tournament though. Like, I'm competitive in Destiny. I want to be the best at whatever lobby we're playing in. So that also is like a lower tier name that could be given to it. I don't know. I don't have a problem really with them calling it esports. If you're qualifying it as not a sport but an esport, like, so I feel like having that electronic qualifier with the E before the sports is what kind of changes it from the meaning of a physical activity to a computer.
I mean, it's allowable. I mean, I'm not gonna take it to the streets.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just, it seems like it's being portrayed as something that it's not.
Yeah, I think it just opens up video games to scrutiny that it really doesn't even need to go. Like, because people who are really, really into sports, who see people use the term esports to refer to video games, like, get really butthurt about it.
It's like when you see like the Major League Gaming symbol is like just another ripoff of like the MLB symbol with a baseball player, Cooperstown, or the NFL trademark symbol. It's just like like a PlayStation controller in that red and blue and white.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Let's go to the chat for a second here. Cybernethy says, my mind went to FIFA upon hearing the term esports. Limitless Killer said, it will probably be bigger than normal sports one day with how fast it's progressing. And then the J-Strom says, I like the term competitive gaming. I like the term competitive gaming.
Yeah,
as well.
I love that term. Like, that's what it is.
And I'm also not completely against like the idea of there being a league called Major League Gaming or something like that.
You're
Like,
right.
but I do think it needs to differentiate itself from the thing that it's clearly ripping itself off from.
Because it's clearly not anything to do with any of those.
Yeah.
And it's nowhere near in the same league or tier as something like that, where you have to, I don't know.
Well, let's think for a second too, though. Like, MLB and NBA are pretty close in their now. Given they're both very physical, active sports. Those are actual sports. Like, basketball and baseball are two very physically demanding sports. but their logos are fairly similar. You got a guy that's in the baseball, and you got a guy with a bat that's in the red and white and blue, and you've got crap, I can't think of who the point guard was that did the thing.
It's Jerry West.
Jerry West. Yeah, you got Jerry West in the red, white, and blue. So who ripped off who in the baseball and basketball
But
side?
red, white, and blue is because it's the American League. The NFL's red, white, and blue.
Right. So the Major League, American League Gaming.
I don't know. It's just, I think to me it's a matter of those have been like they've had the same logos for years.
I got you. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
They've been around. Well, I almost said it again. But I don't know. I mean, again, it's not like it's a huge issue or anything like that. But like, just call it like it is.
And I agree they need to find. Like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate. But I agree they need to find their own kind of differentiated logo where you have the like I'm saying I'm okay with esports because it has a qualifier of esports, and in order to be okay with Major League Gaming, I feel like it needs to have a qualifier that's doesn't look directly like NBA or MLB.
Do you consider competitive eating a sport?
Yeah, that's more physically demanding than video games.
But also, no, I just don't like the term sport because a sport again is something like if you game too much, it's detrimental to your health.
Yeah.
Like to your vision, to your
if
hands.
you play football too long, it's detrimental to your health.
It is, but I mean, like there's other than like some mental exercise. There's almost
you
nothing.
don't think it's a sport because you can get fat doing it. Like, you can't get fat playing football. You can get fat playing video games.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like you can
You can
play
be
video
fat and play baseball.
I'm thinking you can play video games too long. Yeah, you can. CC Sabathia style.
Cece, you're pitching tonight, and he's just got to drink his bathtub full of Coca-Cola.
He's sitting in a bathtub of Coca-Cola.
He's got a straw.
He's not even African American. He's just been sitting in Coca-Cola for so long.
Oh, it's too far, Seth. Too far.
I'm renaming this podcast, Player 3 Podcast, episode 38. Seth takes it too far. All right.
on all boards. What was I saying?
Lord knows. No, you were talking about getting fat.
Okay. Like that's what I'm saying. You can lose. You can get fat. You can like your eyes will start to hurt. You'll get a headache after a while. You'll get carpal tunnel. You can't use your hands. If you play too, like people have died from getting blood clots in their legs because they sit on their butts and play World of Warcraft for 34 hours.
People
Really?
have died because
Straight.
they've taken a 107-mile-an-hour line drive to the face.
People have died because they were concussed from a tackle that was
A concussed.
they were concussed.
They do, but they're all very different things. Like
I've got the consumption.
I've got a touch of the consumption pot. But back to the original story.
Yes.
That's a little ridiculous. Like, what are they doping on?
Well, hold on. I'll just because we didn't actually even get to the story.
Yeah.
Esports organizations promise tougher drug rules after players admit doping. It says earlier this month, a professional Counter-Strike Global offensive player claimed he and his teammates had used the performance-enhancing drug Adderall during a recent ESL tournament. So this is all about Adderall. And apparently it's just a widespread thing. The guy that was interviewing the guy who admitted to it said, everyone uses Adderall. Just throwing that out there in your defense. So
How? Yeah, I was just so astounded by this article. It's so stupid. Like, why? What? How many games are they playing? Like these tournaments, they don't go on for hours into the night. Like they have they're long tournaments usually, but they don't go on for like days at a time where you're constantly playing for forever. I can understand like the practicing of it, but when you're under the and I'm not advocating drug use at all. When you're under the scope of the tournament rules, that time shouldn't be long enough for you to have to be doping.
No,
but
no,
if
no,
you're
no.
practicing, like
Well, Adderall, I mean,
yeah, Adderall's not just about staying awake. It's about focus, right?
yeah, exactly. That's all. Like, I know you guys went to Bible college, so I don't know if all the kids were doing this back at the time.
I mean, they probably were.
They could have been easily, but Bible kids these days. But like when I was at school, like I never did because I'm not. I won't say that I'm not an idiot because I can be.
But you don't like
and
pour gas on a mower.
Exactly. But like I talked to hundreds of people and like saw people out in the streets like, hey, can I get some Adderall? Can I get some like what was a I almost said Cyndaquil, but that's a Pokemon.
Cyndaquil?
Cyndaquil, yeah. CeeLo Green.
Hey man, can I get some of that Dayquil?
Concerta. To like keep you awake, keep you focused, stuff like that. And people were just doing it like, hey, I got a paper tomorrow. Like, I'm not gonna write it at all until the night before, but let me get a couple Adderall in my system, and we'll just knock this bad boy out.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like that. I don't know.
So you know, like I don't know anyone who's taken Adderall. Like you know people who've taken Adderall.
I had a buddy in high school who took the SATs. Just him.
I'm pretty sure I can guess.
Took the SATs just straight up on shrooms and Adderall.
I feel like that's
you would think those two things
counterproductive.
Yeah, I saw him the night after, and he was. I think he'd been up for like 48 hours.
He didn't go to college.
He was in a perpetual daze. He did a couple times.
But does it work? Like, does it actually allow you to focus?
I mean, yeah, I don't know personally,
right.
But most people that I know, it seemed to help them out. Now, again, that's not something. Again, that can't be healthy though. Just doing that recreationally.
Yeah.
That's going to cause them to stop using Adderall. Period. I feel because if you're taking it during practice and you can't have it when you're playing, it's completely detrimental.
Yeah. Diz said that's gonna if they start testing for it in competition, it means they're. But I imagine Adderall, like any other drug, it's not like you take it and then you poop and it's not in your system anymore. Like
For sure.
I imagine they won't be able to practice with it because it'll still be in their system whenever they go to test. This is one of those situations. I understand it sounds ridiculous, but it's one of those you can't like. You got to choose one. Do you want to be legitimate? Or do you want to have a culture of people who compete in your competitions that are apparently supposed to be fair and balanced and they're all doped up on Adderall? Like, if you want to be considered a legitimate sport or legitimate competition where there's huge prizes on the line for these tournaments. Like, and if you want to be legitimate, the only way to maintain your legitimacy, people worry so much about balance within the game mechanic itself. They're going to also need to make sure that people are competing on a even playing field in terms of what they've put in their bodies and what may be giving them a competitive edge outside of just their ability to play the game.
And I'm completely for them testing for that, like making sure that everything's even. The ridiculousness that I'm trying to wrap my head around is the fact that you feel like you need that much of an edge in a video game in order to take medication to give yourself an edge.
But isn't that the same argument for? It's stupid that you feel like you need that much of a competitive edge playing football, that you're going to pump your body full of these drugs that are going to decimate your body.
Yeah, but we get into the physical. We get into the physical side of like you guys mentioned, that there's a lot more physical strain in a football. Like I don't agree with using steroids or muscle or whatever the other thing, HPH or whatever it's called. HGH.
HPV.
Oh my goodness. I don't agree with that use in sports. Period. But you are in a more physical, like, take that to get over an injury faster, or take that to and. You're in a contract. These esport games, you're going and you win your money based off of how you place in a tournament or whatever. These a lot of these players in baseball and football and the like are they have contracts that they're how good they do through the course of a year, not just a single instance, is determined on what kind of money they make and when their contracts up to renew. And I think it's a little bit different in the fact that they have. I feel like they have more on the line maybe than somebody playing an esport would, which I think it's more. I think it's real sports are more legitimate than competitive gaming.
But you're saying, like, if you were competing in a Counter-Strike tournament and you discovered that everybody you're playing against is taking Adderall and you're not taking Adderall. Like, you're not going to feel like you're getting screwed?
No, I would feel like – I'm not saying anything about not feeling like I'm getting screwed. I don't understand why people feel like they need to take that drug in order to get an edge on.
Because the guy sitting across the table from me is taking it, and there's $2 million on the line.
Well, I'm not even saying anybody else is just block out of your head anybody else is taking it. Why does the first person who decides to take it feel like they need that much of an edge in a game?
Because there's $2 million sitting on the table that they can
Right.
win if they win this tournament.
Right.
You know, or however much money. Like, that's just arbitrary. And that's what it's about. Like, let's not pretend that the baseball players in the 90s that were taking steroids were taking it to get over injuries. They were taking it to hit home runs
Oh, yeah.
and get paid millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, and the same stands true in this. Like, there's a lot of money on the line. And where there's a lot of money on the line, there's going to be people looking for any way in the world to be able to get a competitive edge. And if Adderall's the thing that's going to give it to you, and within the scope of the rules right now, it's completely legal within the rules.
Right.
They're going to take Adderall. Like, so if you want to legitimize your sport, you need a drug testing policy, even if it makes it ridiculous, even if it sounds ridiculous to, you know, us, who we're not really connected into the esports world. We like video games, but we're not like going out of our way
and
to watch.
just to clarify again, I don't think it's ridiculous at all for them to test for that stuff. If they feel like that's a legitimate concern, the guy has already admitted that a lot of people do it. Like, go ahead, test on. But I think it's just ridiculous that they have gotten to the point where that money is you need that much of an edge in order to overtake somebody. Because what happens if Joe Schmo team's not taking Adderall and they beat you after you've been taking Adderall? That's even like worse of a loss. That's like a double slap from Clefairy that hits 5 times and crits on the 5th hit, and you die. Nobody knows what I'm talking about because it's Pokemon lingo.
Man, yeah. I never heard it called crits before.
That's what you do. You crit.
Yeah. Well, I think taking drugs,
Period. Just stupid.
yeah,
Yeah.
putting things in your body that alter your body is ridiculous. All right.
Well, it's not a lot about caffeine.
No, caffeine's ridiculous. I'm addicted to it.
Okay.
I get a headache when I'm not drinking it.
It's a rug. It's a rug.
Like, anyway. Next item on the list. Snoop Dogg, friend of the show. He does a lot of drugs.
He does a lot of drugs.
He puts a lot of mind-altering stuff into his body. Rallies support for backwards compatible college football game on Xbox One. This is from Polygon. Snoop Dogg is leading a campaign to get NCAA Football 14, the last edition of the canceled college football series, made backward compatible for Xbox One, but that may take some doing. He hit Instagram, tweeted out a link, asked people to vote, backwards compatibility, boom, right here. NCAA football has 7,000 votes, and I'm not positive where it's at on the scale of like where it's listed in the rankings here. Let's see what number 1 is. Oh, crap. Why can't I go backwards? Oh, I just got to delete this out. It's all good. I fixed it, guys. So it's probably somewhere like on page 5. No, it's not. It's even lower than that. Let's see what's number 1.
It was on page 7.
No, it took me to page 7 because that's where it was originally.
Oh, okay.
Call of Duty Black Ops 2 has 81,000. Red Dead Redemption, 79,000. Skyrim, 73. And Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, 65. Ben, you like college football.
I do.
Thoughts on this?
I was very sad when Madden came out and I didn't have a player to carry over from NCAA in the year 2014. It was a sad day. I would be all for them making it backwards compatible. The only problem is I don't have a copy, so I'd have to find a copy somewhere, and I feel like they're going to be insanely expensive.
Well, you'll be able to download it.
Oh.
Yeah. What's up, Long Tide TV? We're talking about Snoop Dogg trying to get NCAA football.
I'll sign this patent, not patent, petition or whatever it is, a voting thing.
Yeah, I have a lot of really good memories of playing NCAA football. Like me, you, and Steven having that dynasty where I played with Illinois. We played like 3 seasons on that thing.
Yeah.
We played forever. And playing with guys in college, a lot of cool stuff. I think it's funny that Snoop Dogg jumps into the conversation. It's like, Snoop Dogg, you've got millions of fans. What's the cause you're getting behind? I want to get NCAA Football 14.
He's really big in FIFA too, isn't he? Like, isn't he super big in FIFA?
Yeah, I think sports games in general.
I always liked NCAA over Madden. It was always because the pace of the game was a lot more fun. You run the option with you always run that option and stuff. It's so much fun. I love it. And every team, like, you can't, even if you get a really terrible team, they're not like, you can still have a chance at beating like SEC teams.
Yeah.
You're playing with somebody like Fresno State or something. You still have a chance to beat an SEC team.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
All right. Next item on the list. Rise of the Tomb Raider will be coming to PS4 holiday 2016.
Is anyone surprised?
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that it was timed exclusivity just by the way that they were talking about it. And bigger question: does anyone care?
I don't.
We're gonna have Uncharted. We're gonna have our adventure game, our action game.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't gone and played the Tomb Raider reboot yet. But when I do, I'm gonna be playing it on Xbox. I've got my adventure game set for the PS4. Actually, most of my adventure games are for the PS4, and most of my weird kind of niche games are for the Xbox One.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. We're kind of running high on time here. We're at like an hour and a half, so let's move on.
Surprising because we didn't have that much news. It was all the Hail Satan talk earlier that kind of took things.
That's
up
the
a
third
little
time
bit.
you said that, Seth, and it's
Sad
like Beetlejuice.
Oh shoot!
All right, moving on. We got reviews. Reviews for you.
Oh, we doing that one?
Nah,
Oh, okay.
we may come back to it in the after party lounge.
Oh,
If you're in the stream and you have a question or a topic you want us to talk about, stick around. In about 10 minutes, we'll move on to the after party lounge where you guys will get a chance to talk to us and we'll interact with you in the chat. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit that follow button.
Yes.
Seth, you've played The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. I've jumped into it a little bit. Give me your thoughts.
You didn't say that right.
What did I say?
Talk to me.
Talk to me.
You talk to me. It's backwards. Anyway,
Hold on. We'll start over. We got reviews. Reviews for you. Seth.
talk to me.
No, you talk to me.
There we go. I love The Vanishing of Ethan Carter. This game, there are many like it. Oh, that's weird. A little too much Satan talking here. And this game, speaking of that sad Satan game we were playing earlier, it's very much in that vein. The same thing about everyone's going to the rapture. Everyone's going to the rapture. Outlast, things like that. It's an adventure game. It's a detective game. But it's something that you're not really actively playing. It's more like you're just kind of experiencing it. You're along for the ride. All you can do is you can run in this game. You can crouch and you can look deeply. And that's about all that you can really do, unless you're trying to put a sequence of events together in your mind. Basic little rundown. You are kind of a paranormal occultist detective.
Yeah.
And a little boy named Ethan Carter writes you and about some kind of tragedy that's happened in this town. He's really vague about it. But you can tell that he's in trouble. Everyone in the town's in trouble. And so you go by yourself to investigate this. And you decide it's going to be your last big case. And the town's abandoned. It's this gorgeous little rural village. It's one of the prettiest environments in gaming right now, I think. And it's from this little indie game with this really incredible but really sort of small story.
Lean into that mic, Seth, and tell us about it.
I will continue to tell. But yeah, I mean, it's really exciting. The gameplay, once you kind of figure out how it works, because it warns you right off the bat that this is not a game that holds your hand, and that's one of the lines that everyone uses in talking about this game. Because once you walk out of that tunnel and you kind of get the rundown of what the story is so far as the game begins, you're on your own, and you just kind of have to walk forward if you're not using a walkthrough or something like that from IGN or wherever you get that information from. You're basically just left to your own devices. This can be a 3-hour game if you want it to be, or it can be a 20-hour game if you want to go and dive into every little crack of the map and try to figure out what it is. It's open world. It's a little small environment. But in that small world, they pack a really big punch. They offer a lot of content in there. And it's just up to you as to whether or not you're going to find it all or not.
Yeah, I jumped into the game. First of all, the environment they create, the game's pretty. It's really, really pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And the sound design's really good. Everything kind of sensory about the game is very, 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 very well done.
The only issue really which we've spoken about it a little bit, because they try to run it at 1080p, they try to run it at 60 frames per second. Sometimes, especially if you move quickly, if you look around quickly, the frame rate will kind of slag up on you. And so in an update, they've offered a 30 frames per second frame lock. I haven't gone to that because it's really not that big a deal. The game is so pretty. Again, it's not really an action-y game, so in the event that you're just trying to run to get to a certain place,
Go, keep going.
He's just popping in.
That is true. This brings up a good point. We have been doing this podcast for a year.
It's true. Wow.
It's been a year, you guys.
It's just one guy.
We should have an anniversary episode.
I'm
will.
just saying. It's
Okay,
Well,
cool.
It would be awesome.
kind of a cool thing to think about.
But yeah, it's down to brass tacks. This game, other than like a couple of small issues, it's really fun. It's definitely worth the $20 price point. And it's something that, like, in a year from now, after I finish the thing, I will gladly go back and just kind of wander around and explore again. It's like that.
Yeah, it's almost as overwhelming, kind of, as like a big open world game in terms of like having a bunch of stuff to do. Just because you start feeling like I'm missing everything.
Exactly, because like little tiny spoiler, as soon as you actually get into the world where you're like out in the open, there's a mystery to solve.
Yeah,
And I walked straight on past that bad boy and like totally missed it and walked on to like the second or third mystery. But again, like, this is an open world. You can go and find these problems to solve in any order. You can start on one and go back and finish it later, however you want to do it. Like, the world's your oyster.
yeah. And I'm probably going to use a walkthrough just because
I have been, because
I don't want to miss anything.
I'm one of those guys that, like, when I'm in an open world or something like that, and especially if like there's a problem to solve, my hand's not being held the whole way, I'm gonna go and explore every crevice. Like, I'm gonna be out in this field and like go over and try to find the border, like the edge of the map where it won't let me move anymore. And I'm gonna be like, all right, well, there's nothing over here. Let me go over here. Like, I'm searching for coins with a metal detector. So I need a little drive or a little direction in terms of what to do in games like this.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to spend my whole life doing that. And there are so many things to play.
What's your review in a word?
Ambiance. I really like this game's sort of the feeling that you get from it, because it really takes a lot from weird fiction, like Edgar Allan Poe, a little bit of Stephen King. A lot of those, like, and again, it kind of falls into that vein that a lot of weird fiction is in nowadays, like that kind of spooky detective. This game is gorgeous. It's breathtaking, and sometimes it's happy, like that little tiny spore.
The chat, for those of you listening on the audio podcast on iTunes or Podbean, the chat has just been amazing today.
Yeah. But the astronaut's chase sequence.
Yeah.
It's like, it's high paced. It's brief, but it's like this high paced adventure music comes on, and you're just chasing this astronaut through a little field.
Yeah.
And I won't go any further than that. But it's got stuff like that, and then it's got jump scares. It's got these really dreadful moments, but that's all mixed in with this kind of beautiful rural village in the middle of nowhere with a beautiful dam and a lake. So at the same time, this game is bright, but it's underneath, and this plays into the story as well. It's got this layer of darkness to it underneath this gorgeous environment. So it's all around really well done, and I can't wait to go back and read this chat later.
My review in a word is bizarre because of what
Yep.
you said. Like, the scope of the game for 3 hours, you go everywhere. Like, you see all sorts of different stuff, and I think just the pure, like, obscurity and bizarreness of some of the things that you do really lends itself to the almost horror aspects of the game. Like, you go so many different places, and yet there are other times where you feel very constricted with where you are and what's happening to you. And so,
Have you been to the mine yet?
yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, I got down there with the where there's the switch. Is that what you're talking about? There's like a bucket and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Don't want to go too far into it. Yeah, I think I've seen most of the world, but I just really didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. And
That was my problem at first too,
but like, even as far as like when you go up to a clue and like the words start coming up about what it is or the questions that you have about it, I thought at first I was kind of like, they said they're not holding my hand, but it's like gotta find this, and but the more you play it, the more it's like it just adds to the element of creepiness within what you're doing. And
yeah, because it's not holding your hand. It's like, because again, it's like asking you a question. It's like you find a pickaxe over here, and it's like, what was this used for? Where is the missing pickaxe? It asks like a series of questions, and then like maybe if something is important, it'll go pickaxe. like 10 versions of the word will come up and kind of swirl around at the same time. But yeah, do we want to talk about Journey at all? Or?
Oh yeah, well you got a chance to play it, and
Okay.
I haven't played it yet.
I don't really know. This game is really celebrated. We talked about it last week a little bit. We never got to play it on the PlayStation 3.
Mm-hmm.
That game is also gorgeous and in some very different ways and in some of the same ways, like great environment, a lot of detail. It's clearly gotten a lot of love since last gen. And it is a really, I'm sure that it it is in some degree, like people say, a really touching story. I got a little hint of that in my first playthrough last night at 4 a.m. But I have absolutely no idea what happened in that game.
Yeah, I've watched playthroughs of it, and I kind of regret doing that because I wanted to kind of experience it
Yeah.
the first time on my own. But so many people talk about it being this super emotional experience, and I guess it's what you allow it to be to you.
Yeah. Like I could absolutely see where people get that from, and I plan on fully going back later on and playing it again a couple of times, if not more. But it's that being said, like when you have characters that don't speak, like there are interactions between like your character and some kind of godly being, or beings, and then you get interact like you. I'm guessing, as far as I can tell, because I haven't really even looked into the game at all. I kind of wanted it all to be a surprise because I really didn't look into it last gen either. But other people, like there's some amount of online connectivity where like you'll all of a sudden like someone else will be in your world with you, and you can kind of team up and go and do stuff to get like go through the rounds together, like go through your objectives, things like that. People can. Poor Seth. Poor Seth. But yeah, like there's a lot to it, and the game is very deep, but it's also very small. I've got to go back and I've got to see what all else I can get out of this game. And we got the price point a little wrong last time. I think because the PlayStation's had a sale going on, we were saying last week it was like $11.99. I think that was the deal if you pre-order 2 of these digital games that are coming out in like the next month, you get like a 20% off discount or something like that. So that might have been what that was. Now it's $14.99, which is still well worth it, I think, because it's a game that you can go back and do over and over again and try to probably get something different out of it each time.
Yeah. All right. That was your reviews. Let's move on to everyone's favorite segment, the random question of the week.
Random question of the week for the month for this week.
That wasn't bad.
That was it. Here's my random question for you guys. Dude, we talked about the random question.
Yeah,
a couple months ago.
no. It's okay.
So here's my question. Diz and I in our wives talked about this last night, and so I want to ask you guys. What is your favorite nationwide pizza chain, and what is your favorite like local pizza joint to go
I got
to?
this question locked up.
All right. Well,
Easy.
we've been talking a lot, so you go ahead.
Easy. Papa John's is my favorite nationwide pizza chain, and I'll tell you why. Because of that garlic butter sauce.
That garlic butter?
The best garlic stuff that you can get. It's so delicious.
Can you talk about the merits of their pizza, though, for a moment?
Yeah, their merits of their pizza. Their sauce is sweeter than all the other places. I really like the sauce. The crust is always a lot better. It's never too hard, never too soft. It's always just the right crustiness of pizza. Also, the ingredients that they use, I feel like they're a lot better. And Papa John is, in fact, my cousin. I'm just kidding.
Some nepotism in the selection.
Yeah, there we go.
But I really like. I'm all about some Papa John's. Just because it just tastes a lot better to me than every other pizza I've gotten in a chain form.
What about local joints?
Local pizza.
Now, does it have to be local pertaining
Not
to here
lo-
or
no,
just
no,
local
just
nationwide?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would. It's a hard one.
We'll come back. to you.
Okay.
All right. Let's just do our nationwide for right now. So for me, it's Pizza Hut because I'm a sauce guy.
Sauce.
You know, and we got Papa John's last week, and I used to love Papa John's because of the garlic butter sauce. But then over the weekend, I was like, I'm not going to use the garlic sauce for the majority of the pizza. I still used it on the crust, but but I ate the pizza and I was like, it's all
like
all
it?
crust. I felt like it was
That's-
all
see,
crust.
that's why I
The
like it.
ratios were off. And with Pizza Hut, I like the amount of sauce that they use. They got stuffed crust.
They have gotten better because of the different crust flavors that they have.
That is true.
I had
too.
that hot
That's-
dog pizza for the 4th of July, like where the crust has like little mini corn dogs wrapped up in the dough. That was weird and wild.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about Pizza Hut. They kind of lose their focus for a little bit, and then they do crap like that.
We talked about this on the way over here. I'm really partial to Domino's, but I haven't had it in a long time because I work right next to a local pizza place, and I get like a discount over there because I work next door sometimes if like the manager, like the owner's there, Jerry. And
Tony?
no, well Jerry's like,
Does his son own it now?
I don't. It's named after him.
Okay.
So I mean, he does like, I mean, they might as well. But yeah, so they got one of the best Philly cheesesteak pizzas I've ever had, Domino's. And I used to like when they rearranged their crust finally, got like the nice little seasoning on there, didn't taste like cardboard anymore. I really liked it, but a lot of people are saying that they're going downhill now. And
Here's the problem. They got it right with the seasoning, and then they're like, look, we're just going to turn our entire crust into we're just going to pat the seasoning down. We're not even going to make bread. It's just the seasoning patted down into a crust. There's just entirely too much of it.
yeah, I could see where that could happen. So I'm gonna go with Domino's just because that's all I know. That's
But
all
you
I
were
got.
talking about those freaking pasta bowls earlier, and I had
Yeah.
forgotten how good
I think Domino's has the best selection of
food in general.
of cuisine
Well,
in
they're
general.
not Domino's Pizza anymore. You seen the commercials? It's just Domino's because of
Well, it's like Pizza Hut. They tried to go. They can just call it the Hut for a while. That didn't work.
Did they?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's stupid.
some places are like changing their signs and stuff, like the boxes for a while. Like, did you ever watch The League? You watch The League?
I stopped. I
Okay.
watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh, I think Pizza Hut has like a deal with them, and so
Uh-huh.
like they're always eating Pizza Hut or they're drinking like Bud Light. But they have like the boxes all the time, and the boxes are like the Hut on there because it's the hub Hut.
And then they tried to do like Wing Street.
Yeah, those suck.
Yeah,
they're
not
not
good.
very good.
Like
Yeah.
vinegary wings. Like I miss their old Pizza Hut's old wings used to be my favorite wings.
I don't remember their old wings.
I loved them. But anyway, I'm gonna stick with Domino's. They got bread bowl pastas. They got sandwiches that are awesome, and they got pizza that is made entirely of seasoning. So if you like Old Bay, come on down.
I also really like mellow mushroom. You ever eaten a mellow
I
mushroom?
have, but it's been a long time, and I wasn't 21, so I couldn't really enjoy the.
That's
full
more like
experience.
real pizza, like real brick oven.
Yeah.
Style.
No, my second national would be
What's that?
CC's.
And I think,
No,
I
get the heck out of here, dude.
I think mellow
Seriously.
mushroom,
I love
mellow
it.
mushroom is more of a regional thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I love
So
pizza
that might not
CC's.
necessarily.
Yeah, but it may not count. I don't know. I don't know how far out it goes.
Well, do we wanna move
Seriously,
on?
CC's
I love
pizza,
it, man. I love it so
we're-
good.
We're about to fire you.
Are you high right now?
God,
Close.
You have to be a disgusting human being to think that CC's is good.
I think it's amazing.
You know what's even more disgusting than CC's? I don't know if you guys have ever eaten at one of these. A Mr. Gaddy's. You ever eaten at a Mr. Gaddy's? It's like a CC's, but with double the urine on the floor. Like, take your normal CC's and multiply the urine.
Is there a
by
lot of
2.
urine on the floor
Yes,
of CC's?
that's pretty much all the floor is made of at CC's.
Don't CC's have like fudge pizza?
They have a macaroni
Yeah,
pizza.
it's fudge pizza because they pooped on it. It's not real fudge.
It's so good,
Macaroni
man.
pizza.
I
don't know,
love it.
macaroni pizza is actually not that bad.
Our Mr. Gaddy's in Knoxville got closed for a while because the health department came in and discovered they were leaving pizza on the line like all day. They weren't rotating it off if it didn't get gone. Yeah, disgusting. Did you think of a local place? Quick fire.
I think my local would have to probably be Elizabeth's.
Get out of town.
I really love Jerry's, but it's probably Elizabeth's.
I'm gonna go down to Eden to King's Inn Pizza.
Okay.
I've never had that place.
I'm gonna go. I'm a local boy. Let's go Jerry's. It's the closest I think to Northern style pizza, which is always the best pizza in our area. And I can always, work next door. I'm all the time go in and just getting a slice to go and going out into Munchtown.
Job of the Pug says, in America, I had Pizza Hut. It was full of hair, literally stuffed.
I had that happen one time with a local pizza place in West Virginia, I think.
The J-Strom says the key to CC's is to order your own pizza and skip the buffet. And I'm like, I didn't even know you could do that.
You can do that, yeah.
I had no idea.
It's all about the ham and cheese pizza, man.
Well, then you're a little more guaranteed that it hasn't touched the urine floor.
Gosh, so
It
good.
probably has.
So good.
All right, let's
I
get
just hate the CC's crowd. They're all stoners that are just like, hey man, like you ever been to CC's late at night?
It's cheap pizza.
No,
Oh man,
I don't go to CC's.
Oh man,
It's $5 here for all the pizza you can eat.
There's a reason for that. Like that's why all the stoners go. They're like, hey man, how much do you think I could? How much food do you think I could eat good?
Oh man! All right, we're gonna end the audio podcast right here, but stick around if you're in the Twitch chat and for the Player 3 Podcast After Party Lounge, where we talk about topics that you want us to talk about. Maybe we'll see. We got a lot of determining to do in this chat today.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna get out of here though, but first let's go around the circle.
I am Ben. You can find me on Xbox Live at WhoBombTrady, 3 words. You can find me on PSN at WhoBombTrady, all 1 word. And you can find me on Twitch at WhoBombTrady, all 1 word.
All right.
That's a lot of hoe bombs. And I'm Seth. You can find me on PlayStation Network at Buttzors. That's BUTTZORZ, Buttzors. Or on Xbox Live at Dongzors, DONGZORZ. I've kind of got a monopoly on the whole lower body thing going on in my gamer tags.
I'm Luke Croft. You can follow me on Twitter at TK from Antioch. You can find me on PSN at Lodger Blackman and on Xbox Live at Download a Hoagie. We are the Player 3 Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Player 3 Podcast. You can follow us right here on twitch.tv/Player3Podcast to see us go live every Monday, normally at 4. We came at 2 today. Had some stuff we have to do this evening. And then youtube.com/Player3Podcast. We're on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher. We'll drop all that in the chat of the Twitch stuff. But we thank you for tuning in. This was the Player 3 Podcast.
Player 3 Podcast!
P3P. That's it.
Hello and welcome to the Player 3 Podcast After Party Lounge, where we have a room full of butt pucks.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, as always. And if you're in the chat, make sure you hit that follow button. Seth, you want to tell your dad's gasoline story again?
Again?
I'm just kidding. It was a good story, though. But
Man.
anyway, a lot of people have been asking about this hand grenade that I've been fooling around with the whole entire time we've been. Oh, and we're getting a high encoding warning. I think it's because Diz walked very quickly across the screen. Didn't like it. So we'll give it a second to catch up. There we go. All right, a lot of people have been asking about this hand grenade, and I wanted to give the story about this hand grenade. So my dad and I were cleaning out the basement one day, and I'm digging through this box, and this used to have the pin in it, and the thing that you hold down. And so I opened this box, and it was sitting precariously in the corner of said box, so to where you couldn't see the bottom of it. And so I call my dad over. I'm like, Papa? Papa? There's a grenade in the box. He was like, what? What? It's like, there's a grenade in this box. And we took it outside, picked up the entire box, took it outside, and yeah, we found this grenade in it, but it's hollowed out on the bottom. So it's not going to...
Was it at one point a real grenade? Let me feel this bit.
Yeah. Feel how heavy that is. No wonder Master Chief can't throw them all that far.
We gotta have a little bit of weight
And they
so you
never
can get it.
bounce. Yeah.
Well, you have to have a little bit of weight so that when it blows up, it can kill somebody.
Right.
If it's just plastic blowing up in front of them, it's not going to do that much damage. Let's see. What do we got going on in here? Let's see. If Lung Tide TV is still in here.
Seriously.
Who are you?
I'm going to explain kind of what we're doing here and hope that it helps. So we get together on Mondays. We've been doing a podcast for a year called the Player 3 Podcast. We started talking about Destiny back last September, giving our thoughts on it, turned it into a weekly show, turned it into a live stream, did a whole bunch of stuff. Got some new stuff coming down the pipeline we're very, very excited about. This is Ben. I am Luke. This is Seth.
Hi.
Running our chat is Dizzy. We've got Gary over here.
Hello.
Oh.
Gary makes coffee and interrupts us. And then we also have another guy named Larry who comes by every week, but he has been gone the last 2 weeks because he is dealing with a lot of AIDS right now. He's got a whole slew of them.
A lot of AIDS.
And so when we are in the middle of our show, it is not just for our Twitch chat, but it is also for the people who listen to us on iTunes and Podbean. And we interact with the chat at some points when it is conducive to the conversation that we are in the middle of at the moment. And then we have the after party lounge where we talk about grenades and the fact that Larry has AIDS and the fact that Seth's dad pours gasoline on his lawnmower. And so that is who we are. And Diz's social security number is... No, we're not clicking it off. No, we give Seth's phone number at the end of it.
Your social security number is free game.
But I think hopefully that explains a little bit about who we are. Let's see. Did you guys get my message about HTC doing a VR headset? If not, give me an email for the show, and I'll forward it to you. No, I didn't, Milky. Player3podcast@gmail.com. Send that link over here. I feel like I should shower after he says, welcome to the after party.
Who said that?
Milky.
Oh, Milky.
Oh, man. Anyway, so is anybody reading Ernest Cline's Armada? The same guy that wrote Ready Player One. It's awesome. No.
Didn't Marty Sleva say it sucked on...
I don't know.
It was like Unlocked, I think.
I don't really read novels.
Oh, I didn't finish this week's episode of Unlocked, I don't think.
Oh, okay, it was. I think it was either that or Somewhere in Beyond. But if you finish Beyond, then
Yeah, I finished Beyond. But I finished Unlocked, too, now that I think of it, because...
it was just briefly mentioned.
Oh, okay. Then I was working while I was listening to Unlocked.
Okay.
But have you read Ready Player One?
I haven't. It's like $4 on the Amazon, like on the Kindle store. So
Really?
I was thinking about picking that up, but I've got a lot to read, and I've been kind of slowly but surely plowing through a couple of books.
Yeah. I need to read it. The J-Strom said it sucked, but to each his own.
Okay. Okay.
Let's see if we missed anything else up here in the chat earlier. If there's anything you want us to talk about, drop it in the chat, and we
Tell
will.
me about some of the weird stuff that was going on while I was hailing Satan.
Was there weird
What?
stuff happening?
There wasn't weird
I mean,
stuff.
in the chat. In the chat.
Here, no, nothing.
Was there weird stuff going on here?
Him talking about it was weird. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there. I mean, it was. Yeah. Yeah. Please don't hail Satan in my home anymore.
Yeah, we are on church grounds.
You
after
said it.
all.
We can now take it and like take that clip out and put it and make you say it over and over again.
We can send it
And
to
that'll
the
be
guy.
in the game, like
Yeah.
the next iteration of the game. Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Oh gosh.
You can't say it 3 times. Sounds random, but who thinks Capcom should go back to its roots for the Resident Evil series?
I think they're
I think that's a very
trying
prudent.
to get there. I haven't played a Resident Evil game in a long time. I touched on 5 a little bit and 4, but what was the recent little series they had?
Revelations.
Yeah, was it Revelations
Yeah.
2, the
Yeah.
episodic part? I think I didn't play that. From what I hear, it's a little bit more in that direction, like in terms of the spooky factor. Not necessarily going as much for the action-y kind of fast-paced vibe. And it's there a little bit, but there's a little bit more of that mystery that goes back to the first 2 to 3 games.
Your thoughts, Ben?
I mean, I think that would be prudent for them to do, to go back and because those are the games that were most critically acclaimed. Like Resident Evil 4 was like the biggest. I think that's the biggest game in the Resident Evil franchise that people talk about how great it was. One, because it was more innovative because you had the camera change to where it wasn't the stationary camera that you moved through. It was like a camera that was behind you. Third-person game made it really cool. But two, like the horror in it was just so much better. It wasn't like an action game because ammo was really
the first,
scarce.
Like, it was more so like not next gen now, but at the time, like it was revamped for.
It looked
systems that could-
amazing when
Oh,
it
yeah.
first came out, and it was one of those games that like you actually had to be nervous about how much ammo you had because if you didn't.
Well, that's what it did really well, is because it was really good, and it had a lot of similarities to the first couple of games because it was survival horror, and as opposed to more of an action thriller game.
Right.
Your every bullet is precious. Every weapon you find, you're gonna need to hold on to, and you're gonna have to make sacrifices in terms of what you're gonna store and what you're gonna keep,
Right.
or what you're gonna have to leave behind altogether because you don't even have enough room to store it.
And that I don't know, that side of you don't really have a game. Well, I don't want to make that statement without being completely sure. So let me think for a second. Yeah, I don't know that you really have a game that is, that horror set that you can actually fight back in. Was Evil Within that way? Could you fight back in Evil Within?
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
It was all about that. Even Within was the closest thing to like Resident Evil 4 that we've had in a while because it was made by Shinji Megami. What's his name?
Shinhei Megami.
Not something like he's a Japanese guy. Who made the first 4 Resident Evil games.
Shuhei Yoshida?
Definitely not Shuhei. But yeah, so Evil Within was like that, but I think that Evil Within had a little bit more of the action-y element to it. Although it was really good, I really did enjoy that game. But I think Resident Evil 4 had the best balance of it wasn't overly action-y. There was that sense of just like dread. There were those dreadful moments. It kind of played both of those very well, and they definitely, especially with like Resident Evil 6, gotten very far away from that, and where you just got like horde modes coming at you, and it's just a third-person shooter at that point.
Shinji Mikami.
Shinji Mikami, thank you.
I think a revisit to the like the Rainbow, like what was it? What's
Raccoon
the city
City?
that they're Raccoon City? Yeah, when they did the movie, the original movie, and you had like you were going through the lab where the like the origin story of
Well, that was a play on the mansion, because like that was the mansion that you were in the first Resident Evil game, which they remastered last year. And they just added a thing, which it might have played on one of the other games, like one of the smaller kind of all-shoot games. But they had like a lab, supposedly, deep down underneath that. Raccoon City, though, I would love to see. Like, I'm really hoping that they get do a remaster of that as well.
Yeah, that would be
because Resident Evil 2, with its dual stories, and it was just this huge masterpiece. It was great. No, that was 3. 3 was Nemesis.
Very nice.
Cool.
Very nice.
I'm about to find out about this mystery event that's happening.
Pokemon event that Jabba has been talking to Ben about.
Who is it that you get? I don't know who Deontay is.
It's pronounced Beyonce.
I really don't know who that
Apparently Moobot timed out Lung-Tide TV for 600 seconds because he kept using caps. We didn't do that. Moobot did that. He's kind of temperamental.
Do you feel
Sorry
like
about
you're
that.
itching a lot after that kid had poison?
Dude,
oak
I'm
earlier?
telling you, we went to the Red Box today, and Seth saw some little brat that had poison oak, and he was like all touching the screen and stuff. And then we had to go get our movie, and I just feel like it's just all over my junk. But but anyway, thank you for the follow, Lung-Tide TV. Milky, thank you for these links. This is very interesting. HTC, I'm going to throw this up here. Sorry, I moved your cursor, Diz. You don't have to worry about being there to hit the stop streaming. I can do that from here now. I've replaced you with a machine.
Mother of God.
So HTC is working on and Valve are working on developing a VR headset, and this looks pretty crazy. This is from PC Mag. Does your house have a VR room? Maybe it should, because the Vive headset from Valve and HTC is the most immersive virtual reality experience I've seen yet. But man, does it take up a lot of space. HTC strapped the giant Vive headset on me for half an hour so I could live in its world. It's a big one, inside and out. But this is the catch here. The Vive requires 2 laser tracking boxes bolted up near the ceiling of a room, 2 nunchuck-like controllers, each with a touchpad, a trigger, and a flower-like bloom of sensors at the top, and the headset cabled to a Windows PC. So you got cables and cameras and nunchucks and sensors and all this stuff. Because it's fully interactive walking around experience, you need to clear out the furniture from the center of a room and try not to trip over the cable trailing back to the PC. All right, but check this thing out. Look how giant this thing is.
Yeah, it is humongous.
This thing is massive.
That looks like the
Like
thing
that
they
weigh my
used
face
on.
down.
It looks like the thing they used on that commercial where they're eating those whatever they're called. What are they called? The pizza hot pocket things.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like they're using in that commercial. Look it up. Look at it. I'll show you that commercial too.
What's that?
It's the
Wait a minute. Did you want us to do this so you could media rape us?
no. Virtual
lying to
reality.
me?
I'm not lying to you. It's actually a virtual. I wanted to compare it to that.
Like going to YouTube?
Yeah.
Look up Pizza Pocket VR commercial or
But
something like that.
but let me just say something about this real quick. This seems super impractical.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to be buttload rich to have a VR room, like a room you don't put furniture in. You just have cameras in so that you can walk around. And I wonder how big the room's gonna have to be in order for you to do that.
It said they wanted a 15 by
15 by 15. There it is.
I don't think mini room. This room isn't. Yeah.
Nah, that's like a living room for most people. All right, let's go over here to YouTube. What am I looking up?
Just look up Hot Pocket virtual reality commercial.
Now can we
Is this
show
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can show this. This is fine. And it's probably not going to have sound for you guys. And if it's deafening you, I apologize as well. I have no idea how the sound works on this thing.
See? Looks like it.
Oh, that does kind of look like that one.
He's eating them. Then he goes and tackles his friend.
I'm not.
Oh no!
Oh, he got him. All right. That just as cool as it may be, and as awesome and immersive as it may be, like,
Later, Long Tide TV.
Yeah, long title. See you later.
you don't give in.
I'm just gonna say
Don't
bye.
give in to the. I don't know who Vic is either, or Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Vic Seth, he wasn't leaving till Vic, Seth, or Billy, so he can't leave yet because Ben said bye. Oh man. Anyway, gosh, awesome.
Can I get them to send friend codes to the Player 3 podcast email?
What's that?
DS friend codes to the Player 3 podcast email? Can I get them to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's fine by me. Anyway, Milky513 says bye to you. The only person that could say bye to you to get you to leave is Seth, because he said Vic or Billy.
Howdy.
Oh, man. Milky, you're awesome. We love you. And we also love Job of the Pug here. So, and Limitless Killer, thank you for stopping by. And Long Tide TV, we appreciate you as well. And it's not that we're trying to ignore you. We're just talking about other things, man. Just talking about other things. We were talking about... Hold on. Let's check it out again. We were talking about this giant VR headset. Like, the guy's so unaware he bumps into the camera at the end of it. Check it. Oh, crap.
What do you? So how does it make the parameters of the room to where you can't run into something if you have this stuff up in the corners?
Oh, absolutely not.
No, you're totally... You're going to the hospital, especially when it requires you to carry a real knife with a sensor bloom on top of it when you're playing stabbing games. Because all those stabbing games that are out there. This thing, it looks pretty cool on the inside
Welcome
here.
to Stabbing Simulator 2015.
This thing just looks gigantic. And the fact that it's got to be wired to a PC, there's going to be a lot of broken crap. Oh. Yeah. Thanks for those links, Milky. You're awesome for sending those in. How much does that thing weigh? Let's see. Does it say? Command F. Weigh.
Who's Billy?
I prefer things lightweight and wireless. He doesn't say how much it weighs.
Oh, he's the guy
It
sitting
does-
right behind you, Ben.
Oh gosh! Rest in peace, headphone users. I got you. Oh man, do you think people will take Sony's Project Morpheus series considering their poor support of all its peripherals? Don't even get me started, man. Seriously, like, I get so upset thinking about the way that Sony deals with the stuff that they pour all these resources into. Like, Move was apparently one of the most accurate, like, that sort of tech. Oh, and I'm still on the. Let me go back here. Like, Move was what the Wii was doing with their nunchucks and that and the Wiimote and that, but like way more accurate, and yet they just didn't put things out for it to support it. The camera being the same way, and the Vita even being the same way. Like, all of this just lack of support for these things. However, with Project Morpheus, what we're going to see is kind of like a fusing of all those peripherals, like the camera the Move controllers and the headset. And so it's kind of the culmination of a vision that I think started a long time ago. And so maybe within that, it's going to cause them to have a little bit more support. But I don't know. I hope that they support. But really, what it's going to depend on is having developer support and publishers who are willing to back projects that come out on this thing. But the best course of action they could have had was to have it to where they bundled it in with the PlayStation when it originally released. But way too late for that. The PlayStation sold too quick. Like, there's 23 million units out there now, and 23 million people aren't going to buy a Morpheus headset. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that? I don't want to be the definitive last word.
I'll give you the last word.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll allow it.
Go ahead.
I just gave him the last
You
word.
just gave me the last word.
Okay. Take it.
All right. Well, you got to get out of here. 'Cause
Yes.
You got to get ready.
I gotta go take some children to
and
the
Seth
concerts.
and I, we're going to go probably rub our bodies with a lot of olive oil and let Diz take pictures of us in the backyard.
Neat.
So we're going to get out of here.